Hello and welcome everybody to Advantage in Paradise, Adrift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play show set in our homebrew world of Aradun. And these people are making faces on the other side of the world. Our music is licensed through Musicbed.com, not a sponsor, but a really great service if you are a content creator yourself. Our ambiance is usually through TabletopAudio or Syrinscape. Both have free ambience for your games at home. Also not sponsors, just really great stuff. Let's see. What else do I say? Nothing. I bring Shannon on. Hey, look. It's Shannon.
It me. Hello. Sean, your background looks really cool. You look like you're standing on stage. Your curtains look like a stage curtain.
Oh, I am on stage.
This is really cool.
This is the stage in my house.
Okay, but at a real stage, not
it's
like
filmed in front of a live studio.
Not like your computer stage.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players.
Oh, Jaquet, where'd you learn that?
Where did you learn
bard.
that?
Shakespeare. Come on, guys, that's Shakespeare.
Yeah. I knew that. I knew that was Shakespeare.
A little Hemingway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Are we ready? Is it my turn? Are you, Sean? Check the stream first, because I will not be doing this twice. Are we good?
Well, I'll tell you one thing is that every time that happened, there was no warning sign, Shannon. I didn't know it was going to happen. It just happened.
Well,
also,
just watch.
Also, everyone,
what?
In this Discord call, start recording your Audacity.
Oh, fuck.
Already did.
Thank you, Sean. That's just, I need to put that at the top of my announcements.
What you gonna do when this
You absolutely do.
Yeah, I do. All right, I will do that after I talk about our lovely partners. I'm going to start with Arcane Spectacles. Introducing Arcane Spectacles, your source for personalized D&D themed Christmas ornaments and top-notch tabletop RPG accessories. With the ability to personalize their ornaments and your D&D's party names, you'll have a unique and memorable keepsake. They also offer dice, mugs, wood spell trackers, wood dice vaults, and more. Visit them at arcanespectacles.com. Scroll. Next, we have Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a best-selling Emmy-nominated TTRPG publisher building new and exciting settings for the cipher system of every genre that you can imagine. Each setting includes everything you need to explore its unique world, including lore, species, descriptors, foci, creatures, ciphers, artifacts, and all of the rules that you need to play. They are currently working on Wild Space. So if you have not yet joined their Patreon or joined their Discord, do that and be a part of their incredible just content creation. They're just constantly putting stuff out, and they are incredible. So do the thing. Next, we have Edward Yorke. He is our character artist. You saw our waiting screen. That is our current party art, and he is amazing. He's an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. Last but not least, we have 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for D&D and other tabletop role-playing games. Sean uses their NPC card. Sean, what are those? Ooh, look at that.
They're this.
They're that. Who dat?
This is Kimala, who was a sailor that you all met in the beginning of the game. Well, not all of you, but it has
zeros.
Really great stuff on it. Like
what, Sean?
Personality traits, quirks,
wow.
flaws,
Whoa.
goals, and
what?
even secrets, Shannon. Secrets. That's right.
Secrets. Wow.
There's
That's
a few
amazing.
others that I spilled the drink on. They're a little
secret.
Don't spill drinks on your new 1985 games NPC cards. They also just finished a Kickstarter.
They did.
I don't remember the name of the setting, but it is a Studio Ghibli inspired setting.
Very cool.
That I need to see if I can get it on backing late, because I actually really think it looks cool. Anyway,
if you would like to purchase any of their amazing products, use the code ParadiceProd for 10% off your entire order. Let's see. We have recaps on our Discord server. Sean writes a one-pager for us every week that recaps the last week's episode, so it's a quick and easy way to catch up. We also have all of our VODs on the YouTubes. They are all up to date. So
Okay,
if
Grandma.
you what?
Hmm?
Did you say okay, Grandma?
Mm-hmm.
Who asked you?
The YouTubes.
The YouTubes. I was trying something a little different there, Mike. Way to step on my groove.
It added 20 years to.
Can I just finish my spiel, please?
Nope.
I really want to play.
Continue.
Thank you. Lord. Where was I? You threw off my groove.
You, the YouTubes. That's where you were.
The YouTubes.
VODs are all up to date on YouTube.
Yep, VODs are. Thank you. VODs are all up to date on YouTube's. On YouTube. On YouTube. Links. Join us in Paradise on Blue Sky,
There you
Twitch,
go.
Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok.
She's back.
I'm back.
All right. I think we could play a game now.
Oh my god! Wait, I need to put in all capitals at the top of this Audacity! Exclamation
I'm gonna bring
point.
everyone else in so that
All right,
they
cool. I'm ready.
stop tormenting you. Except,
Oh, it doesn't stop when they come on screen. Alex.
look at them. Look at them.
at that face. Here they are.
It's funny because it's cut off by Bruce. So, by the nameplate, so Alex just looks like he's hiding.
Oh
Alrighty.
my goodness.
Can we get a music shift?
Hell yeah! Oh.
Oh, also, can we get a hell yeah, but only from Alex? Okay. Now from Clayton.
Hell yeah.
Now from Stefan.
Hell. Yeah.
And now, oh god, Mike, of
Oh,
course.
Mike! Mike! Fucking you, Mike! Oh, God!
Mike, can you give us a burger laid in tell ya? Actually,
Hell
don't.
Oh, my
And
God.
on that disgusting cue that I'll have to edit out later.
I didn't get to do one. Hell yeah!
Oh, I thought you
You
did.
asked
I
for
think you
it.
did.
You skipped me.
Sorry. Well, that was
Because I'm a girl, isn't it?
That was
Ooh.
that was an unsanctioned tell ya though. So
Oh, no. So does that mean I get disadvantage?
it's something
You're
like that might happen.
uninspired.
You're uninspired.
We're all going to hell. That's what's gonna happen.
I would gladly go to hell to meet a certain didac named
Mm,
Ro. I hear he throws a hell of a good party.
mm.
Yeah, you can make a religion out of it. Anyway. Yeah, recap. Welcome, folks. Let's talk about the show, and then we can play, and you can watch. So, last we left off, Iron and Mana, our adventuring team here, spent some downtime in Hyven after a long time away. For some, this involved simple errands or investigations. For others, much more devious plots. But each sought out a little rest before the next adventure begins. Septimus spent the early aughts of the week researching in the Academy Library. He researched more about the storm elemental Eyeless that resurrected Jaquet, and learned, or it was revealed, that the elemental has somewhat of a tumultuous behavior, bearing life-giving rains one day and destructive storms the next. He looked for some information on sea elementals for any details that could help Saskia deal with her patron, but could find little during his time there. Similarly, he wanted to discover more about the effects of spirits inhabiting bodies like those in Billowgrass, or the spirit he believes animates the machina like Sal, his automaton companion. Again, he found little and gave up on research for this week, in favor of working in the forges and helping Bruce a bit. Perhaps to get out some frustration as well, having difficulty finding the right books. With a bit of help from Septimus, Bruce got to working on discovering how to tinker with the modular pistol and sword. He discovered the purpose of these modules and how they work. With more research, he may even be able to make his own modules to augment the weapons. A productive week for our kobold artificer. He finished the week out with some more trap building and gave the gun to Jaquet. I told him he had to find his own bullets. Elsewhere, Fearn cavorted around town looking for more information about the governor's arrival in the city. He learned that the governor was set to come on the 3rd of Anarum. Fearn began seeing the effects on the city immediately, from the chilling of activity in the widow's ward and the uniformed census officials and muscle wandering door to door. Hyven will be seeing great changes with the arrival of Saipajin. Over in Harborside, Saskia and Jaquet teamed up to intimidate a dock worker and garner information for Jaquet's contact, Andres de Leon, black market dealer. Jaquet kept Sass mostly in the dark on what the purposes or outcomes of the job entailed, other than the silver, of course. This irritated Saskia, and she followed Jaquet after the dockside. She found him in an abandoned house taking on the guise of LaRue, his criminal alter ego. She followed him as he acquired those certain goods for De Leon from a hidden cache, and when he returned to the abandoned house that night, she was waiting for him there, having stolen his belongings he left there. An argument ensued where Jaquet admitted to his struggles with trust and made it clear that Sass had broken said trust. It ended tensely with the two leaving on bad terms. We concluded with the party reuniting at the end of the week to discuss their next move. Sass, though, did not join. The party received a missive from Sigil about more work, and they decided to investigate more into the governor's effects on Hyven, along with other plans to invest in Hyven. Part of investigating more about the governor was reaching out to the commodore of Eja to just make their introductions. So, this is where we left off. I would like to check in to see if there's any last-minute downtime stuff to conclude from this week. I know we didn't really discuss the rest of the week for Jaquet or Sass. If there isn't anything, it's okay, but if there is, we can deal with that now. Let me just
per the downtime activity of crime. Generic crime. Jaquet would have continued to work for Andreas, doing other jobs for him, and hopefully earning some silver while he's at it.
Excellent. Let's, because you will be getting some silver for the job you already did. Right. So let's do the 3 checks for this.
Sounds good.
So you can do a let's see, we have a dexterity stealth check, be our first one. Dexterity using thieves tool is the second one, and then your choice of an an investigation, a perception, or a deception check.
Okay. Yes, sorry.
Let me just make sure I'm getting everything for this. And what your upfront cost is 25 silver for doing a little bit of research, supplies, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
All right, so let's get that stealth check first.
So stealth check was only a 15.
Oh, well, that just succeeds.
Oh.
So let's hear the next check.
Jaquet is not doing well. That's a 9.
That is a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And our third check, which can be investigation, perception, or deception.
Deception?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And that's 24.
You couldn't fail the deception one, I think. Is deception part of your
Yes.
eloquence? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we have 2 successes. So, what that means is your work for Andres throughout the rest of the week is partially successful, but not fully successful. The good thing is that you are there's no complications that come with this. So you spend the week, and if we're not going to RP any of it, but if you want to describe or keep it quiet, but you basically do your work, you are able to succeed in what you endeavor, but you don't get as much information as you would have liked for your employer. Certain people started to get a little suspicious of you. Not that they think that you're criminal or someone looking. Well, they do think you're a criminal, but because they're doing criminal things. But they don't think you're a plant or a rat or anything. They just think that you might not be fully committed, and that you don't deserve the full scope of things. But you do learn some information. So for the week's work, which includes the work with Andres at first and with your partial success here, you will net 70. You'll get 75 silver pieces.
So gross 50.
Gross 50, yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you.
Anything else, Jaquet?
No,
say
I think
Lulu?
that's it. He would just stick to his nefarious work while during during whatever time he isn't doing that, just lounging around, working on some future performance.
Absolutely. You're able to do that. All right. Any other downtime stuff to resolve before we get into non-downtime? I think we're good. All right. So, we get a little more quiet music or whatever. Sass, come to the end of the week.
Yeah.
You've had most likely a rough week after the blowout with Jaquet. Where would we find you the night before the 30th when you're to join your friends again?
I would be down on the beach, and I would have taken my boots off and just left them in the sand, and I'd be walking along the ocean, kind of letting my feet be in the water and just walking. And I am specifically looking for any particular pretty like seashells or any like trinkets that may have washed up on shore. I'm taking my time, but I am actively looking, and imagine there's a beautiful sunset.
Well, I'll describe it.
Okay.
It's actually raining. No.
Damn it.
So before I get into the scene, Sass, I do know that you talked to me about wanting to go buy some new clothes since you left a bunch of them in Billowgrass. Did you want to have done that throughout the week? Oh wait, no.
Interesting
Actually,
with
I think
the
you have a
word
plan for
buy.
Yeah.
So yes, no, I actually think I might have been spending the week, and I don't know if which category this would fall under, but I would have been staying at the hostel throughout the week, and then listening out if there was any like dock working jobs or anything throughout the week that I could have done, and then just kind of like keeping to myself a little bit, maybe like checking in with everybody except Jaquet. I'm giving him some space, just to be like, hey, I'm still here, hope you're doing
Still
good.
alive.
I'm still alive, I'm around.
Sure.
But kind of just being by myself for a little bit, because she's feeling a little bit like a burden on the party at the moment. So trying to get back to who she is. So
Okay. So, Sass, as you're walking along the shores of Ivan, beneath the wharfs and over possibly by the lagoons on the northern side, you look out to a calm sea with a splattering of violets and oranges painted across the sky, with fluffy, comforting clouds. You see off in the distance the very small shape of some of the island chains out deeper into the waters, beyond this bay, the Zephyr Bay. As you walk and look for these shells, perhaps you notice, or maybe it doesn't, but as you're walking, the waves almost reach for you with your steps in the sand. You can see as they water washes up and it recedes against your feet. Little tendrils come from the water, almost reaching for your leg. A clear presence of your patron in these waters.
As I'm walking and seeing these little tendrils go, it's like, do you want me to come in the water? Or are you just saying hey?
As you stop and look at these tendrils, the waves as they come up upon you and over your feet, you would see the water does kind of like come up your legs a bit and then recede back, in the way that she likes to be close to you. But there's no demands in it. This is simple connection.
Okay.
You always do feel a small draw to get in the water.
Sure. Right, well, I fucked up pretty bad, so if you've got any pretty shells or anything out there in the ocean, I could really use it.
Give me a persuasion roll.
18.
Okay. You say this to the chorus of the water splashing, the waves crashing, seagulls crying, the bustle of the pier quieting as it is sunset. You hear a little splash of water as a tendril, not a spectral one, but a real one, comes out of the water. And you see it's just kind of gyrating there, which sort of has that twitching octopus tentacle movements, like slowly moving over itself too, as the tentacle seems to be holding something.
Right, well, that was fast.
About 10 feet in the water, though.
Well, you could have just said if you wanted me to come in. All right, I'm coming. I'll wade out into the water, towards the tentacle.
Gets you to, when you get to the tentacle, the water is about waist deep now. And as you get close, you can see, like, the tentacle doesn't really, like, go to anything. Like, it goes back into the water, but it almost vanishes into the sands. For a moment, you feel uneasy, maybe, as your feet are adjusting to the sand. And there's that sinking sensation where you're not quite standing on solid ground. And for a moment, you think and imagine this horrifying, massive, gargantuan creature under the sands that she could possibly be, as that tendril disappears into nothing.
Where did you go? This isn't funny. I'm gonna get out.
The tentacle pops back up 10 feet deeper.
Are you fucking kidding me? You could have just said, right, fine. I'll just dive in and start swimming towards it.
As you dive in, you can see the tentacle goes under the water. It's still there, though. And you can see now that within its grasp is a very, very beautiful scallop shell.
That's perfect. Can I have it? Please.
Just wait. The tentacle waves. And then turns into sea grass. And then the little scallop shell starts to slowly sink to the bottom.
Chase after it. Kick.
Swim.
Swim.
When you grab it, I'd like you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Sure. Woof. That's an 8.
Okay. So as you reach it, you're swimming for it, the dark water this far out, you still see some of the dim sunset at the top, but as you swim for the shell, it gets darker. You grab the shell and hold it in your hand, and almost like keep it close to you as you're just floating now. You don't really have to swim the same way other people do. Like, you can gently kick your feet and you'll just sort of float in that spot, not exerting much energy. As you look down at it, and it's beautiful. It has almost a kaleidoscope of colors across it. It's just the top half of a scallop shell. But you look down past it, and again, those tendrils of seagrass now are mingling with your feet.
No,
They feel
no,
like
no, no,
tendrils themselves.
No. If you want to talk, we can talk. But can you let my feet, please? I don't like it. This is perfect. This is what I asked for.
One of them wraps around your ankle.
What did I do now?
And at the end of your sentence, abruptly, you just feel yourself
Ah!
pulled down into the full bed of seagrass. You're holding on to the scallop shell hard, as it is difficult to keep anything that you're holding on. And it feels almost like you're being whipped around now, until eventually you're just so mingled within the seagrass that you can't see anything but the dark green of it all around you. As the tendril lets go of you.
Can I try and swim out?
Yep. As you swim out of the tendrils, you feel the pain in your cheek again. And as you get to the top of the seagrass, you see the surface of the water is a lot closer.
This is weird. Are you fucking here?
Do you break the surface?
I still have the seashell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I tuck that into a pocket and then?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Swim.
You get up and your head breaches the water, and you feel that pain increase in your cheek and a sharp pain in your head as you look around and you're not at the shores of Hyven. You look up and you're inside a dark cave with a small island on it. It goes deeper.
Have I seen this place before?
A memory shrieks into your head. That wisdom saving throw. You've been here before.
All right. Fuck.
You hear running water. Like that of a small waterfall in the next chamber beyond this cave.
I'll keep my head above water and do like that breaststroke where you're keeping your head above water.
As you get closer to the opening, ground does surface. Like there is a small beach that leads into this cave, or this part of the cave. You can step onto the shore and follow the cave if you'd like.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep following, and as I'm following, I'm just gonna randomly just be like, we can just fucking talk. We don't have to do all of this. I just, if you have something to say, just fucking say it. But as I'm saying that, I'm still walking and following.
As you say this, the darkness of the cave lets way with small lights that seem to come from pools of water in the corners of the cave itself. This is a very jagged, deep tunnel and tight, where there's just collections of water where some of it's pouring out from cracks in the cave wall, and there's small lights that come from that, kind of underlighting the whole cave. And it's when you say that you take a turn and you look, and there are these sand statues of people here with no faces whatsoever, holding onto picture frames that look like they're waterlogged and from old mansions that have no photos within them but a roiling sea with shipwrecks all about, and the water from the paintings of the ocean pours out of the frames into these pools. These frightening simulacrum of people in painful positions holding these frames of shipwrecks, and the water of these paintings is real and pours out of the painting. The skies, the storms roil in the paintings as if they were scenes directly to the real world.
The fuck is this place?
Give me an insight check.
9.
You don't know this place. You don't know it by name. You only know it
Mhm.
by feeling. As that sharp pain digs into your head again and you have a flash of a memory. All you know is that this place is suddenly the most terrifying place you've ever been. You don't want to be there. The walls feel like they're tight and you're claustrophobic. These storms seem to roil even stronger in the portraits now as the water rushes out quicker as you feel a terrifying presence beneath the sand, beneath your feet.
I'm gonna go. No, this, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I'm leaving and turn around and try to go back the way I came.
Okay. You can. And you get back to the main chamber and you're on the shore and the water's still there. Seagrass gently swaying underneath.
Do you have something you need to say to me? I need to go back to my friends. But the people that I'm with, I need to go back there. And if you have something to say, just say it. If you're angry, just let me know. Get it over with. I'm fucking scared. All right, I'm scared. You're scaring me.
You feel your cheek burn with pain as the barnacles, tendrils that are within your cheek. You can see them out of the corner of your eye. Those little tendrils. I keep saying tendril a lot, but
Tendrils.
those antennae that come out of
Yeah.
barnacle shells, and the chittering
Yep.
is echoing in your skull. And that chittering almost turns to the sounds of water and waves, and then a soft voice on that water traveling across it like the wind. Can't really make out the words, but these ones are calming. Where this place is frightening, the voice is calming.
Okay. I don't really know what she wants me to do here. If you're the one making the scary shit, it's working, and if you're the voice that's calming too, you're really confusing me. All right, I just need a straight answer for once, please.
You get a memory in your mind of something so frightening that you can't. The memory itself is muddled, like looking through dirty water. Something horrible with long fangs, long claws, green, horrifying, cloudy eyes, and a voice croaking with age and time, just saying, "Are you sure?"
Yeah. Of course, I'm sure. I'm sure I don't want to be here. Yeah.
This one's
I'm
a
sure.
real memory, not the voice in your head. You mistake it and say that, but this is something that you heard in a memory of a creature saying, "Are you sure?"
Why now? Why? All I wanted was a fucking seashell. That's it. That's all I wanted. And you gave it to me. And thank you, I guess. What was I sure about? I know I was. I'm just gonna turn around and dive back into the water.
Easily enough. As you're diving into the seagrass itself, it tangles up, not in that way that she's grabbing you with them, but that they are difficult to swim through, and you find yourself getting tangled in them. And as you keep twisting and turning and twisting and turning, it gets more frustrating, and you almost get completely stuck in there as that pain is increasing in your cheek and the grinding of the chittering mollusk in your skull echoing in there, as you hear the last words from her in this affair here.
You gave up everything. You gave up everything. Seize your new life. You have no other life.
Are you sure? It seems like I did.
Your face hurts so much that you can barely get those words out, as it feels like this thing is digging its way out of your skin. And suddenly you open your eyes and you can see the sun set from the shore and can swim back.
I reach up as what is it? Is there something there?
No. The cut is still there.
Yeah.
You do hear the chitter of the mollusk still in your face.
Fuck.
That didn't go away. The pain is all gone. You can swim back to shore now. You have your scallop shell.
Yeah.
It's still there. She didn't take it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the first thing I was going for. All right. As I swim back to shore and I get to shore, and that heaviness that you feel as you're walking out of the water, just running my cheek or running my tongue against my cheek where the cut is, and just thinking to myself, to the little fucker in my head, just, you don't need to be there. You just go. I can hear your voice without this little thing in here. Thank you for the shell, I guess.
You get the distinct feeling that the thing in your face is not for her voice. It's just there to punish you.
Right.
But as you walk back up the shore and the adrenaline goes away from that harrowing experience, though the fresh memories of that hall stay, you still have that familiar sensation that you've been there before and seen those portraits and seen those shipwrecks and storms on the sea. And you just hear in your mind the same voice saying the same thing, but soft and comforting, not threatening, saying, "You have no other life but this one." And this one's she's not looking for a response, you can tell.
Yeah. No, I'm talking to myself now. Mm-hmm. Right, no other life. Well, I guess I need to dress for it. I'm a fucking pirate. And I'm going to grab my boots, pull them back on, and make my way to the Cask and Crow by way of the
Main Street.
Yep, thank you. Main Street. And is it relatively busy still, or not really?
It's the Main Street's kind of always busy, except for when you get to midnight, when everyone's closing down. But it's always a pretty busy street.
Okay, so I want to, as I'm walking and going to the Cask and Crow, I would like to try and I don't know if the right word is pickpocket, or I guess steal.
Crime is the right word.
I'm gonna do crime. I want to replenish my look. It's not gonna look exactly the way it did, but I'm gonna need a headscarf. I'm gonna need a hat, jacket.
Give me a dexterity stealth check first.
Yep. Oh no. Oh no. It's a natural 1 for a 7.
7, okay. So you're gonna have disadvantage on your sleight of hand check.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, fuck. This first one was a natural 20, and then a 9 for a 12.
Okay.
So 12.
So this is the thing, is your first roll was kind of screwing you, but the DC is not very high for this. It's just that first roll was really bad.
It was really bad.
So a 12 actually it succeeds, and I'll only ask for
Wonderful.
one more roll. And it's only because of the first roll, and that is either a persuasion or a deception.
Let's see, persuasion. We're gonna do deception. Fuck. 12.
Hey man, not everything is a DC 18.
But I rolled a 5.
Yeah, and you have a 7 modifier.
A
That's
7
great.
modifier.
So,
it's a 12.
in true Saskia fashion, you wander about the main street at the open vendors that are still there, haggling with their last people, or maybe even with not even a vendor, just a man walking by with a hat you particularly liked. And though you are not sneaky at all, many people see you do this. You are able to acquire a hat, a new coat, and a scarf.
Great.
The scarf you literally have to. The deception is for a few people noticed you, and you had to be like, no. This is my scarf.
They took it from me first. It's my scarf. I'm just taking it back.
Didn't I know you from somewhere? Didn't I see you steal a sandwich somewhere?
No, that was my twin sister.
Let anyone into this port now.
Sure will. Have a good night.
As you acquire new garb, a hat, a coat, and a scarf.
Great. And as
Save
I
yourself the 1 silver it would have cost to buy it all.
Great. And as I am walking, I guess, into the Cask and Crow, I will be putting the final adjustments on my hat and making sure the coat's a little big. So just, it looks a little big, but it'll do.
Excellent. Now, I did a little bit of a timey-wimey problem here by having you do all this on the night before. We were going to have you walk into the Cask and Crow. So
Oops.
we can say that you had you went to bed knowing you had all
Great.
this new lovely stuff and you
Great.
at the hostel, and you're arriving the next day late to team meeting.
Great.
Which we will now bring you into. All of you,
Great.
before she comes in, is there anything you wanted to discuss, or is it kind of okay for her to walk in where we ended last time?
I'm just saying, no matter whether you're a king, a lord, or a pauper on the street, you want to be complimented. And that's what I intend to do in this letter, okay? Just, I know what I'm doing, please.
Do you really need to be the main character in this? Like,
Yes. You think anyone's gonna care if Bruce the... I'm sorry, what's your last name?
it's not important.
I feel it is. If you're gonna introduce yourself to someone, what am I supposed to just put from Bruce? No, that sounds
Rebellion,
stupid.
all right?
I'm sorry?
But wait, your last name, it has recognition, though. He's part of Kobo Co. I'm sure they may have heard of it, though.
I mean, I'm sorry, did you say your last name was Rebellion?
Please tell me it's not.
No. It's like
I'm sorry,
rebellion.
did I put you on the spot? I am so sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Did you forget your last name?
Did you
No,
not
I
write
just-
that in your backstory?
I did. Not.
Well, I apologize. I would assume that's something that you would have come up with in an earlier date, but my point stands is that
Look,
Bruce...
I didn't want to be outward with my last name. It's Rebellion, all right?
Rebellion, okay.
No, it's Rebellin.
Rebellin.
Rebellion, yeah.
Yeah, like a cool guy saying they're rebelling.
Yeah.
Rebellin, I see. There's a hint of the South to that, I think.
Yeah, sure.
You have no idea where it comes from, do you? Do you even
No,
know your
I don't.
ancestry.com? I mean, 23andMe? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Your pedigree.
What's your...
Jaquet thinks everyone
Where are
has
you
like their
from?
scrolls of pedigree.
Wait, my grandparents are from Gwenvalier. So,
Sure, where in Gwenvalier? It's a very big continent. You should know this.
I don't know.
Oh my, you're useless. Okay, that's why we're putting my name on it. Of course, Jaquet Touchard of Iron and Mana. I am not simply saying I'm an individual agent, merely a messenger for the greater good that is our partying group.
Wait, but you're not providing any backstory to where your parents are from. So I could say, Bruce Rebellion of Iron and Mana as well.
Right, but simply seeing the name Touchard, any adventure-knowing individual would recognize the name, to be sure.
No, I didn't
just-
recognize it.
Well, you're no one from nowhere, Fiern, so I don't know why you think you would.
Yeah,
I
but
just-
my name sounds badass.
I mean, Jaquet's got a point. He's got a name now in the town. He's a, music playing cat. So
He's been playing music for what? 1 day? I've been fighting in the pits for like weeks now.
Okay. Let's make it clear. I don't just play music. I am a bard. I move the soul of the people. Okay?
He didn't do much singing the other night.
right, I felt like
Exactly.
more. I was like charming. It felt more little.
Also, didn't you
Magic
have
in
like
the
a
air.
nom de plume that you should really be using?
Wow, that's impressive. You know that word, Fiern.
I told you I read it. I read a lot of books when I was younger.
You read it.
Sass,
Yeah, I read
you
it a
you
lot
walk
of
in
books.
at this point. As they're
I
arguing
believe
about
that
book
you
reading.
Yeah.
Good.
What should we reading? Hello.
We're writing a note to
Right.
the Commodore.
It's not
Oh.
a note, Fiern. It's a letter of introduction.
Ah,
Very different.
letting us
Yeah,
know that's
so like
where we're all friends.
Well,
What if you told me what to say and I wrote it? So that way we could like do it as a team. I've got
No.
very good penmanship.
I find that very hard to believe given the large, and he gestures to Fiern's hands, mitts that you wear.
I slammed down one of the business cards. I wrote this.
Wrote or
Well, I got it
Scratched.
printed, but I wrote the letter.
They're actually, I mean, they're, I mean, the type of, they're pretty basic, like in the sense of like what is actually printed on them, because they're basically calling cards that you just drop off. They just say iron and mana, and where to find you all. They actually are nice, eggshell white.
Ooh, this is thick paper. What is this? 2-ply? How do you?
I don't think
paper
business
weight?
cards come in ply, Jaquet.
Oh, and you would know, farm boy.
Yep, it's 2-ply, extra absorbency.
Who makes it? Charmette?
I just found some bears in the woods. They gave it to me. It was great. I got it real cheap. It was a good deal.
On sale at a cost company. I did write a
Secret
letter.
Woods Club.
Ah, you want to read it to us?
It would be my most pleasure. To the most illustrious Commodore Zura Umadori. My name is Jaquet Touchard, and I am writing to you on behalf of the heroic adventuring party known as Iron and Mana. We have recently completed work for Mr. Sigil at the Hyven Academy, solving the elemental ailment that once plagued the hamlet you call Billowgrass. We currently seek an audience with your Commodoreship at your earliest convenience to discuss the possibility of our employment under your direction to benefit the wonderful citizens of Hyven whom are under your protection. We can be found staying at the inn called the Cask and Crow and eagerly await your reply. Sincerely, Jaquet Touchard and the party of Iron and Mana.
Yeah, it was well written.
I know, because I wrote it. Sorry, a little. Yes, thank you.
That's the proper answer.
I got there.
Great. So, are we gonna send it out?
Well, I assume we can hand deliver it, right? What's nothing more personal than that? Obviously not to the Commodore herself, but to her offices. I can seal it, so she knows that no one's been reading her mail. And Jaquet will take out his fancy wax and seal, and you gotta let the wax heat up a bit. Cat hair, you know how it is. I'm shedding a little, okay? I'm sorry. I haven't brushed myself. Dribbles the wax and
Just don't get any cat hair in the Yeah, it's good.
It has a certain touch to it.
Great.
But yeah,
Well, what are we gonna say if she just wants us to go on that other quest? You know, the one for,
She?
yeah, the Commodore. The, what was her name? Starts with an H. Gave us a quest to go out.
Professor Essa.
Essa, right. I was wrong. But
Well, her last name is Hyven, but you know, furbolgs and their weird naming conventions.
right. Anyway,
They're
what if
almost-
Essa's there, or if the do we still not have a decision? Right, we've got to talk to Sigil first.
Sigil.
Yeah, let's see
Sigil.
all our options first.
At the
And
same
also it's
time,
Sigil.
assassin.
Yeah.
Jaquet goes, Sigil.
Okay.
Sigil, and we kind of.
I don't think you're ever gonna get it through to him.
We can try.
Speaking of, you guys think we should kind of take a walk now and see what he wants?
Well, why don't you send that off? We might as well.
Yeah, on our way we could drop it off and. That sound
Yeah, I
good?
want to make the gods of this world describe to me the interior of the Commodore's office, so I'd like to go personally, if that's okay.
Oh. All right.
I don't know why the
Wait,
gods
wait,
would
wait.
want to speak with you in particular.
And also, how are you going to get access to the Commodore's office, particularly?
I want to go.
Yeah,
The general offices.
Yeah, there's
not
a lot
her
of places I
personal.
want to go. All right.
So speak up for once in your life, Bruce Rebel.
It's rebellion.
I know, I was trying to push you to being a bit more of a rebellious spirit in life.
Don't
Well,
bully
everyone
Sweet
does.
Bruce.
That's fair. He probably can't handle it.
Okay, so y'all are heading out to the upper city on the rock.
He is.
And you're stopping at the Commodore's office before going to Sigil's or after?
Or I think just to drop off the letter.
Just to get it done.
Yeah, probably before.
You don't actually have to describe it if you don't want to. I was just teasing.
I do want to.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna make you guys listen to me talk about it for the next hour.
Oh no!
What have you done?
Okay, so you head out from the Cask and Crow, and you head up High Road to the causeway leading up into the Admiralty Court. You pass by the guards at the front gate. Jaquet, you recognize them. Give a little quick hello. They, ask them how they're doing, and it is all very peachy. They are big fans of you.
Kids. Oh, fantastic! Did you see my show last? Telvis Dog.
One of them absolutely was there. Like he's like, oh, Mr. Touchard, it was a good show. Like you told us, we heard about it. We did think the name was a little weird, but it's kind of
Branding,
catchy
you know
though.
how
It's
it
kind of
is.
catchy. I keep saying
So
it.
I've heard.
Around to my friends and family. It's just really easy to it rolls off the tongue. I go to hey,
Wow.
Mom, I went to the Jackie Touche show last night, and they're like, Jackie Touche, that guy sounds cool. Is that a new
While
thing?
this guy is rambling, Jaquet just kind of turns to the rest of the party and holds up his hands like, who would have guessed?
So, and then I was telling all my friends, like, I don't know when he's gonna play next.
It's
you gotta get
fantastic
tickets.
to talk with you as always, but we gotta get going. You keep supporting me, my friend, and I'll keep supporting you.
Okay, Mr. Touchard, or should I say Mr. Touche?
Touchard is good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I scowl at both of them as I walk by. They didn't recognize me.
No fight nights around here.
Yeah, these guards don't go to fight night. Anyway, you get into the large circular street of the Admiralty Court. You can see the large garden park in the middle, and you can head to the eastern side of the rock, where the Commodore's manor looks over the sea on the edge of the high cliffs. Which do actually have names. They're the Little Paltos Cliffs. But anyway, you can head over that way. There are people going about their day here. You see a lot of people are just, lounging in the park. You see some families picnicking. Overall, like it is just such a stark difference when you enter into this space. Everything is spacious. Everything is comfortable. There's no crammed buildings. Things are elegant and designed versus sort of just stacked on top of each other. And you would arrive towards the northern or eastern edge of the circle, where you would see the manor in the background, some wrought iron fencing that goes around a front courtyard, and that connects to a smaller but similarly styled building that is right next to. Basically, it's like there's the front gates are just two very ornate wrought iron gates, and immediately to the right of it is this smaller mini mansion, essentially, that is the office. And you can see it has a door, and there is a sign that hangs out front, or is actually more of a plaque on the side of the door that just says the Commodore's office. And you can enter if you would like.
We would like.
Yes. And you do see, like, even though there's the manor behind, like, I called this small, but it's still quite a large building. It's got 3 stories to it. It is similar Edwardian style as the manor itself, with nice large. Go ahead.
What kind of columns?
Doric columns.
My man.
But it's if you enter, there's a little bell that rings, and it's very nice in here. As soon as you enter in, you can see that there is you can notice now that you're in that the second floor that you saw outside was really just part of the first floor that has really high vaulted ceilings. You can see 2 layers of windows that go up. You can see there is a chandelier that comes down from the top that is, other than Jaquet, the biggest light any of you have ever seen, other than a lighthouse maybe. It's probably, if you were actually next to it, the size of a whole cart, with very ornate blown glass, and these twinkling gold lights that fill the air and kind of match the beams of sunlight coming in from the windows. As there is this nice marble interior with these red and gold carpets everywhere, with banners hanging with the green colors of the Commodore. Yes, Sass?
Are there any, those, like, are there any, like, bowls of fruit around, like those decorative bowls of fruit? I would like to an apple or a banana or something off the top and just.
It's real. They're not fake.
Well,
so,
I was gonna eat it regardless.
As you bite into it, you do. It is like one of the freshest apples ever. And you can see, like, there's against the wall from the door you entered in, near the windows, there are just sort of like these nice little seating areas with small tables between 2 chairs for people to wait. And then you can see in the middle of the room, there's this sort of circular lounge bench that kind of has like it's really a donut-shaped cushioned bench that in the middle has these really beautiful lush plants that go up like a good 10 feet high. Yes.
What kind of plants are they?
They look very palm. It's like this is like a collection of really, really tall palms, and it provides kind of almost like this shade that comes over the top of this rounded, red cushioned donut bench, basically.
I want to sit on that bench, or like lie down on that bench with my feet like crisscrossed like this, just eating the apple.
I imagine.
Go ahead.
Fearn's kind of like dumbfounded by the chandelier, like not ever seeing something so lavish before, that he is like not paying attention where he's going and like trips over the donut
You trip over the donut bench into the palms a little bit and have to catch yourself because there's no back to actually hold yourself.
Yeah, those like de-elevated, I don't know if you've ever seen, but like those fancy, like they were a trend in like the 80s, like the de-escalated floors that have like the benches in them.
Yeah.
Really dangerous. Like people get killed because they don't know where they're walking.
Absolutely. And this space is like, as soon as you're in here, like those of you who are less regal in your expectations of the world, like it echoes in here. It's like it's like walking into a hotel lobby, or into an old bank that's still in like a really, really marvelous building. And you can see, once you've kind of entered, you see the central seating area and the side seating areas. You see past the central seating area, the walls kind of come into a very, very elaborate staircase that then kind of wraps around up to the third floor, or really what is the second floor. And in front of that, there is a, or to the side of it, I'm sorry, not the front of it, there is like an inlaid office, kind of like you would see at a hotel, with a person there with some cordoned off lines for a queue. Or you can see there's a couple people waiting and talking to this person. And you can imagine, just looking up where the stairs go, that it likely goes up to offices up on the next floor. Very nice. Above the reception desk, essentially, is this very elaborate clock that has 3 clocks on it, basically. In sort of these... it's all made of like a very nice... bronze, and there's one clock that says Hyven, one clock that says Halcyon, and the third clock, I just realized that Hyven and Solanel would have the same time.
One clock that just says question mark.
One
It's
clock,
always at 5 p.m.
No, one clock that actually says name of a city that you don't recognize. It is in Gwendolyn.
Cookie Island.
Cookie Island?
Yeah.
Cookie Island. And I am forgetting the name of it, so I will. But
Not Byzantium.
no, it would be on the other side of the island, of the continent. It would be, actually, you know what? No, it says Torshid, in Elysia.
That makes sense.
Which only Jaquet and probably Bruce would know what that is.
Ignoring the antics of both Saskia and Fjern, Jaquet, not breaking stride, just continues to march straight forward to the queue.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are in the queue in front of him?
There's only 2 people there now.
Okay. Anyone that looks old?
Yep. The person currently talking to the reception desk is certainly a little older.
Okay. Jaquet will give it 1 minute, and if they're not done, he's going to interrupt.
She's complaining about a parking ticket.
They are kind of not complaining about a parking ticket, but they are complaining about a fine that they got. And you could hear the person like being like, there were never any fines when I was young. There was no fines ever, and now suddenly, I left my cart overnight at the inn, and the next day I get fined for cleanup. What? My horse did not take a shit on that street. So I am contesting this fine, and I would like to speak to the Commodore herself. And you see the person who is this half-elven gentleman with like very dark black hair that is cut very short and kept slicked back. He has very pale skin, and his eyes are this sort of reddish color. He looks like he could be his elven ancestry could be Gwyn, could be something else. Those of you who might just have no idea about any kind of ancestry might even mistake him for a vampire with how pale his skin is, the red eyes, and the dark hair slicked back. And he is also wearing like a very dark suit with a white shirt underneath with a red handkerchief.
Wait, there are vampires in your world?
Yeah.
Oh, like, okay.
I mean, I'm just saying he looks like a vampire. He might not be a vampire, but there are vampires in the world.
Okay.
What made you think there
always
aren't?
vampires.
For some reason,
Just not Sean's
Never mind.
style.
Yeah, just Alex is,
You played a werewolf.
The shift.
Yeah, but,
There's two different things.
yeah,
I
How
know.
dare.
But I tend to think when there's a werewolf in the world, there's probably
conversation
vampires.
for another. Yeah, but never mind. Continue. That's another
Alex is
conversation.
very quickly being like, I want to make a new character.
Oh, what the hell?
It's like, why did I not make a vampire?
Or another werewolf,
Fion's caught up, and he's like, "You can't shit in the streets anymore. What is this world coming to?"
Wait.
But basically, the guy you see, he lets out this. Jaquet, you're listening to this. You see this guy just lets out the deepest sigh and pulls from his waistcoat a little pocket watch that he opens up and then closes, and looks back at this man and says, "The Commodore is not in, unfortunately, sir. But if you head down that hallway over there, you can write a statement, and I assure you that Miss Umidori will read it. Thank you for your complaint. It has been noted, and we will consider your appeal. Please head over there." And the next person's very quick, and is just literally handing in some papers, and he signs it off, takes it, and you can step up, Jaquet, with your entourage behind you. I like to imagine
I'm still on the
like,
donut couch.
Okay, you're still on the donut couch. I imagine the three of you are just like right behind Jaquet, and it was just sort of like one step forward, and then they all one step forward. Good afternoon, sir. What can I do to help you?
Good evening, my good man. I come to you bearing a letter of introduction, he says, pulling out of his shirt the letter and placing it with a flourish on the desk, and go, "From the party members of Iron and Mana, the most heroic of new party
Oh my.
groups."
Sass
Heroic.
burps.
And he does look over your shoulder to her on the donut couch. She should
Heroes
take
have
her
intestinal
boots off of the
gas as
Commodore's
well.
furniture.
Fionn steps in between him and Saskia, so he can no longer see what she's doing.
Oh, where'd she go? He takes out his pocket watch again, opens it. It is
We've only
not-
wasted but 10 seconds of your time, my good sir. I'm sure you get paid no matter what you are doing.
My time is very valuable. And you're right, you've not wasted much of it. But let me see your letter, of course. He doesn't open, he just takes it. And he's like, and he looks at it and then looks at you. Iron and Mana, you say?
Yes, my good man.
Adventurers?
Indeed.
And he looks down at the envelope, and then you see he puts it in his jacket and looks at you. Are you new to town?
You could say that. We've only been here but a few weeks. We've most recently worked with Mr. Sigil at the Hyven Academy and intend to do more work with them.
Oh, they're letting him out of the library now.
Oh no, we have to go in there to meet him.
I presumed no one worked with him anymore. But fair enough. I'm sure there's some reputation for you, that if you've been here for a little while and already done work. I've not heard of you. But
Not yet. But now you have.
predicting what the Commodore will ask me, as I doubt she has much knowledge of your escapades either, given that she has been out of the city for quite some time. What have you accomplished? Do you have a resume?
It's included in the letter,
Oh,
which the
I pres-
Commodore should read at her earliest convenience.
and the full, sort of details are in there. What you've accomplished, sort of work you've done, types of jobs you've accomplished? References?
Almost certainly. Jaquet cracks a smile, and anyone with like an insight of 19 or higher would tell that he's like starting to sweat a little. Like, wait a minute, our resume's pretty shit.
Fearn takes this moment to step in and says, I believe these business cards that we have will elaborate on the services that we provide. If you have any questions about a specific thing that we do, I'd be happy to elaborate. And I give her a bunch of them, not just like one. I say, maybe if you have anybody else,
just one.
You see,
like, give them out to people. That lady might have needed our help.
He takes, like, I imagine you like spilled a bunch of them out onto the desk, and he picks one up carefully and looks at it. And you do see he does actually kind of like look at it and does make a little bit of a face like, oh, okay. And he looks at you and goes, I didn't take you for an assistant. Thank you. And looks back to Jaquet and puts the card where the letter is inside pocket and says, well, I'll be certain to send any word to the cask and crow. If the Commodore would like to meet with you, I will say it has been quite a while since we've had any introductions from adventuring parties. So, that'll
Well,
do.
Iron and Mana is here to break the mold. Break the mold. Break the mold.
Well, I will be sure to let her know everything that you've told me about Iron and Mold. Have a lovely rest of your day. I have something
Iron
to get
and
to.
Mana here to break the mold.
Is that your slogan? Your advertisement? Break the mold.
No, I just thought of it right now. It's not that bad, actually.
Certainly. You should take out an ad in the paper.
Oh, beat you to it, bucko.
We already did.
Actually, we already did. For the past week, it's got its own.
And you
Well,
see
actually, I think
he looks
just-
down now to Bruce, and he goes, genius.
Oh,
Thanks, it was my idea.
Oh, great. They'll take your ideas. Excellent.
Well, my good sir, whose name is...
He holds out a hand to shake your hand, and he does give you he might be very condescending, but he gives you a normal handshake. My name is Doyle. I am the executive assistant for the Commodore Umidori. One day you might be able to become an executive assistant, as he looks to Fearn, and then back to Jaquet. Well, if there's any other documentation, feel free to send it over, and I will make sure the Commodore reads every word of it.
Be sure you do, Executive Assistant Doyle. Your quick wit and condensation
Oh, condensation.
fill the room.
I am a bit sweaty. It's a warm day, sir.
Indeed, Jaquet says as he turns to leave.
Can I freeze whatever drink he has on the table? Just
Simultaneously. Can I ask for a wisdom saving throw?
Oh!
As Jaquet wants to cast a little dissonant whispers, not intending to actually harm, but more to give this guy a splitting headache. Unsure of where it came from.
I love it.
And you know what? That last bite that Jaquet gave is going
I had
to
a feeling
be
this was coming.
unsettling words.
Oh, well, he doesn't need it because he rolled a nat 1 for a failing roll, I presume. He doesn't have a plus 19 to his wisdom. So yes, you see as you say that last biting word there, and like he interrupts you with his rudeness, and you immediately seethe, and the distant whisper goes into his mind as you see, like, you're staring at him, like, as you say this goodbye and cast the spell, and you just see he is straight-faced, and then you just very, very subtly just see an eye twitch and his head jerk a little bit, and then he closes his eyes and takes out his pocket watch again and looks at it, snaps it shut. Is there anything else I can do to help you, sir?
Jaquet's already walking away.
Ta-da. Have a fair day.
Were you serious about that administrative position? You think I could possibly do that?
Oh, you're still here. Drop
Well,
off
you
your
piqued
own.
my interest.
Drop off your own resume, and I'll make sure to look at it.
I'll come
We
up.
always need new staff.
Thanks.
I'll come up next
Snazzy
to
outfits. I look down at his uniform.
Interesting outfit. And he nods to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta get a new cloak. This one got burnt up by a wyvern.
Ah. You hate it when that happens, don't you?
Oh, it's the worst. You're telling me.
Okay. All right, then. Sass, are you walking out?
Yeah, I was just gonna walk up at the tail end of that conversation, hearing Fear, pitching himself and munching on the last of this apple. I have
I imagine whatever you're about to say, like, you're talking like straight full mouth of apple. while
full
you say
mouth
it.
of apple, absolutely. And I just clap Fear on the shoulder and say, "I'm a reference. He's fucking amazing. So it's good fruit. Where'd you get it?
An orchard.
Which one?"
I'm sorry, but I have something to get to at this time.
Right. Sorry. I tossed the
you-
apple behind the desk and say,
Oh,
"Come on,
well,
Fear."
No. Okay.
Rude.
Stunning reviews, I'm sure, for Iron and Mold.
Iron
Yes.
and mana.
As he calls back for someone else, you see, like, clearly, like, a teenager comes out, and he puts, like, a little, like, 10 minutes, I'll be back in 10 minutes, executive assistant on the desk as this teenager just kind of comes in, like, okay. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As he just looks at the two of you, like, hi.
Hello there.
Bye. Oh, wait.
You good?
Yep.
Yeah, we're on our way out. By the way, how much do you get paid?
We're not supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, but you don't really care about the rules, do you? I mean,
I want to be an executive assistant one day, in the Commodore's office, or get a job in Ezra City because this place is dumb. So yeah, I'm gonna follow the rules, sir. Sorry.
Come on, Fear. Let's go.
he just called the place dumb, but he doesn't want to talk about his wages. Whatever. I'm out of here.
And yep, you can easily step out. The bell rings again, and you're out on the street. And you can head to the academy if you'd like.
Yes, we would
as
like
Yeah, we head to the
Yes.
academy.
I was looking elsewhere.
Oh, so
I
was
was
I.
not waiting for you to say something. I was looking elsewhere.
Yeah, us too. Yeah.
But you can do. No. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh no, I was kidding.
I'm kidding. I'm also kidding. All right, so
I'm
you can
not.
walk across to the other side of the court and head over and go through the academy gatehouse, through the courtyard, and to the libraries. And you would find Sigil there, and you can see he is outside of his office for once. As you can see, there is one of those those clockwork automatons that he has that kind of like walk on those like stilts and spider legs and stuff is moving around. You can see is adjusting a massive portrait up on one of the columns of the library. It's just clearly just like a very old painting, and he's just like slowly, the automaton is like putting it up, and Sigil is just like standing down there, like his one hand in a pocket on his waistcoat and the other hand just sort of pointing, and you just hear him going, no, a little to the right. Nope, no, that's not right, that's dreadful. Just bring it down. As the robot just like and starts walking away with the portrait under its arm, and he turns around and sees a lot of you enter, as He takes his hand out of his pocket and kind of puts his hands out and claps together, looking to you all. He's in much more modest attire today, just a simple waistcoat with a white shirt and trousers. No fancy, colorful things, although he does seem to have a hood on that sort of wraps underneath the shirt in like an ascot, and he does have his mask on, and his neck is still wrapped up to the chin. As he looks back and says, "Welcome.
Sigil, we received your summons.
Yes, of course. I did not expect you all to come right away, but lovely to have you here. Come into my office." And he holds his hand out to the pillar where his office is for you all to go in. He doesn't go in ahead of you. He just points for you all to go in. As you walk in, you hear him say, "I just need to make one quick call. A moment." And he steps out, and you can see he is talking to himself out there. Those of you wise to magic know he's casting a sending spell.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And you all enter into Sigil's office again, where it is equally as messy, with a seemingly ever-boiling pot of water for tea in there. And you can see some leftover sandwiches in Sigil's office. The same sort of sandwiches you saw last time, with the corners cut off, tea time sandwiches, and the same messy desk. Before it's not too long, he joins you in there. And he just says to you all, "I have a colleague who will be joining us, who has some insight into the work that we're asking you to potentially take on."
And who might that be?
He's a professor here at the academy. Let me pull up. Professor Cadmus Marvelo. He works in the primarily in the School of Naturalism, but he occasionally does some work in the humanities when it comes to archaeology, anything that might be related to naturalism. He has an interest in where I'm asking you to go for this work. He's an interesting man, a little bit shrewd, but smart. Fiercely smart. But anyway, I suppose you would like to cut to the chase.
Yep.
That's why we're here.
Oh, can I get any of you anything? Coffee? Tea? Something stronger?
tea.
Raises his hand and goes, "Actually, we still need to settle the expenses from our last excursion."
Yes. I don't know if you've ever worked for a university or academy before, but sometimes expense reports get held up quite long in the administrative process, so I have not gotten full approval for all of your expenses. There are some questions that they are discussing about some of the potions you requested reimbursement for.
Billing's at the end of the month, Stefan.
Oh, of course. Jaquet just cocks an eyebrow at Sigil's response, but does not pursue the issue further.
So, to get right to the business of it, I have a colleague who I've not heard from in quite some time. She was last said to be in the north of Asia, near Stony Heath.
Do I know where that is?
You do.
Do I know where that is?
No. This
How far?
is. It's further than
Billowgrass.
It's definitely further than Billowgrass. If Billowgrass took you 5 days to get there, this would take you probably another 4 days going north.
Oh, damn.
It's because it's basically on the northern tip of Asia, the
Right.
northern hills. You know this place Septimus to be another kind of like market town, like Billowgrass and Fairholt, where it is, specialized artisans, specialized resources that are typically collected there. Let's see. Let me just pull. Where the hell is my notes for this? Oh, it's not in there. It's in here. Yes, Stony Heath is where. Why am I losing it? This is like a much rockier part of Asia, less farming there, and a lot more like stonemasonry comes from there, and other more like merchant or artisan trades come out of there. They send a lot of stuff down. A lot of people leave Stony Heath to go work elsewhere and then return to Stony Heath after making some money for their family. But it's the northern market village of the Asia Straith. Let's see. Yeah, Stony Heath provides much of the stone cutters, mining, and quarries for the region. So, you know that the village itself lays on like a high cliff that overlooks the sea with a very small port there that doesn't have many wharfs to. I mean, you could actually probably get there faster by water than the 9 days. It'd actually probably take like half as much time if you were to sail there.
Okay.
But he goes on and says, yes, an old colleague of mine, she went there quite some time ago for a research project for a sabbatical she was doing. Her name is Professor Diana Nettle. Human woman, older in age, but still quite sharp and smart and intelligent. She specializes in celestial mechanics, stars, origin of the cosmos, this sort of work, and the mechanics of planes of existence. She specializes in that within the School of Naturalism, but she also teaches and specializes in theology as well. Don't quite know what her project was in Northern Heath. I know it had something to do with my own work with the elemental disturbances going on around Asia. I know that whatever she was doing seemed important, but there has been no word from her quite some time.
How long has she been gone for?
She's been in Stony Heath for north of a year now. She's coming to the close of her sabbatical soon, and we have not received any word of the state of her research or what has become of her. My hope is that there's just a reason that the communications have not come through.
A whole year without even hearing from her? Or that's how long she's been there?
She's been there for a little over a year. It's been more like 6 or 7 months since we've last heard from her. She set out after the storm to do her research there. And truthfully, I really just want someone to go and see if they can learn of her whereabouts, ensure that she's safe, ensure that the Stony Heath is safe. Goods have still been coming from it, but my colleague might have more information on the Heath itself, since he has some requests for you to complete something there as well.
I'm sorry. I just want to clarify something. Trade with the town is still active, yes?
Yes, I believe so.
Folks travel to and from Stony Heath?
Yes.
And you haven't asked anyone about your missing colleague?
I suppose that's where a part of this is not exactly very public. I don't know the full nature of her work, but it was kept very private, and she was not exactly wandering around town working with them. She, from what I understood, was staying in a small cottage, not within the town itself, but within the outskirts of it.
Right, but why wait so long to not reach out? It's been 6-7 months. Seems
Well,
like it'd be
it's
something
truthfully
more could.
reached the time of concern. Professors will often go out, and it is some time before their missives return with updates on their research and when they will return. This is when our concern began, and I happen to have people who are interested in work for the Academy. To be honest, much more of the job has to do with my colleagues' interest there. This is just something that I am asking with pay, of course, but more as a favor when you go if you take the other job.
Well, I suppose we'll have to know the details of the other job before we accept. But
Isn't this the job that was I was very drunk when they were talking about it, but is this the same job about to go in north?
no,
No.
that was east.
Oh. Did we accept that? I think
You
I-
did.
No.
No, we did not.
Oh. All right. Just catching up.
So, how much of a reward are we talking?
Well, out of my own
And after
personal,
my own heart.
out of my own personal coffers for checking in with my good friend Diana, make it worth your time. I can give each of you 50 silver pieces. And I do know that my colleague's job will pay substantial. From my understandings, he was able to take a portion of his budget, close to 1,000 silver, I believe, for the work.
1,000 silver
Yes,
to
Each of
find.
us.
1,000 silver for the lot.
Tabaxi can dream.
I will need to wait for his arrival to know. I don't know much about his ask. All I know is that he spoke to me about sending you all to Stony Heath, and he would have more details when you arrive. And I use it as an opportunity to ask for an extra favor, for a little more silver.
And how many days of travel to get there?
9. He told us this already.
9 by wagon.
Sorry, my bird was distracting me. All right.
9 by wagon, 5 by sea.
Well,
Uh,
what did Septimus pulls out like his little pad, starts just like taking like notes and stuff. What would be the best lead to where she was conducting her research? Where was she staying? You said she was isolated. Had a little
Yes, I can
cabin?
definitely
Where could we
give
find
you. I can give you coordinates, map to find her cabin. It would not be that far from town, far enough where people wouldn't be passing by, isolated enough for her to focus on her research. It is in simply up the rocky coast, eastward, towards one of the cliff sides. Small cottage. I can give you a map to find it.
That'd be appreciated. I still don't know my way around Halcyon. Kind of needed a map for that one too. All right. Are you gonna, cover the cost of travel as well?
Well, since your last expense report, I've had to approve your expenses beforehand, not take it afterwards.
You offered the choice, my friend.
I understand. I am not myself usually negotiating contracts, and I have. And he kind of like looks around, and like you cannot see it because he has a mask, but you can feel the heavy sigh that comes from him. I have been corrected on what can be approved. something like wagons with feed for the horses, absolutely. Or we can pay for sea travel.
It's faster to go by the ocean.
We have a few
But
contracts
it's
with
safer
ships.
to go by land.
Is it?
Well, with what work you all did in Billowgrass, the road should be significantly safer.
Would we be passing through Billowgrass on the way?
If you wish to stay on the roads, if you wish to travel through the back farms and hills and forests, you could go a straighter line, which would take less time. But if you were to follow the road, you would pass through Billowgrass and take the northern road. Or I suppose you could take the crossroads by the... what is that damn tavern's name?
Something with a coyote.
The one with the dog and the stew.
Coyote and...
It's a hellhole is what is it? It is.
There is a
It's
smaller...
provided a shelter.
There is a smaller, less tended road that goes north from there, but it would end at some point, and you would have to take the hills and mountains. So there are essentially three ways to get there: fast, slightly slower, and slowest. That conveniently have degrees of safety to them. That one might say is no danger, a little danger, and possibly a lot of danger. And of course, you go by sea.
That gets my vote. I'm not just saying that because I've got a little expertise.
We'll make that decision later.
All I need
Right
to
now-
know is your decision on travel before you leave, so I can approve it for expenses.
All right. Yeah,
So-
well,
Well, we have been told that if we go on open water, that we'd be hunted.
Hunted.
What?
You were told that, Fionn. You were told that.
all right, let's have this discussion somewhere else, all right? Yeah, no, it was just some kids playing around. We don't need to worry about it, Sigil.
I ask that you keep anything I don't need to know from me.
Well, what you do need to know is that I'll be performing live at the Harlequin and Chalice next Thursday, 6 p.m.
Is
yeah,
that true?
we actually...
Big eye roll.
If I have it in my time and I can get a cart there, I'll be there.
Jaquet just raises his eyebrows like, oh, okay, cool.
It's at that point that there's a brief tap at the door, and you can see turning around a very well dressed man in a suit with a long-tailed coat, waistcoat, very fine powder blue waistcoat with a darker blue overcoat. With pinstriped pants and some of the shiniest shoes you've ever seen.
Jaquet is appalled by this. He thinks it's an utter distaste to fashion, the way this man is dressed. For all the wealth that Jaquet knows is behind those clothes,
Mhm.
the mind that formed that outfit is ill-informed. But Jaquet keeps that to himself. But you would all see a look of disgust. Just, ugh.
Yes, and he has the rings and the jewels to match Jaquet, and a very colorful but formal tie with this suit, with a high collar, and a nice little pocket watch that you can see his chain hanging from his waistcoat. He is a tiefling. With very light red skin, with eyes that are sort of have a greenish flame to them, and his horns are very simple. They are just jutting out a little bit, and then kind of come with a little curve, almost like the claws of an animal. As he smiles, his hair is very well kept and groomed. This is a man who looks like he just got a haircut. And he comes in immediately, takes out that pocket watch, looks at it, and then looks back at you all and says, "Have I arrived too late for the meeting?" you all the adventurers?
Jaquet just gestures at the party. Do we not look the part?
Ah, I think I've heard of you, actually. I heard about some crew called Iron and Mana. I saw it in the paper this morning.
Jaquet, like, huge smile, like, looks at the others like, huh? We're making a name for ourselves.
Good thank Thurn Fern for that.
Saskia burps again.
I say in Abyssal, greetings, brother.
Before he responds to that, did you, what did you submit for the ad, actually? Is it literally just a big page that just has the words Iron and Mana on it? Is it just like a giant form of the business card, or is there other stuff?
It has all the details that are in the business card, like basically the same type. But if I had a full page spread, it was probably just some like I took some stock photos out of what was in the printer shop, like that they had from like maybe old advertisements, and we just like changed the colors around or something like that. So it, there's like an axe, there's a dragon, there's like a little flute, there's
not you, thumbsing up at the camera.
Yeah, it's not a picture of me because we didn't have a artist on on staff that could take my
likeness.
It's a general advertisement for something.
Totally. There's general like stamp like shapes of all of the things you just said, axes, dragons, and it's all over a stock print of like just like a beach. Like that's just what they had.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks kind of like the stock footage that you would see at like a karaoke bar, just with someone who stamped a bunch of axes and dragons on it.
Just like a random model who's just like staring wistfully off, and like you get 5 different camera angles.
And he before you say that to him in Abyssal, he just sort of laughs a little and says, "The things that they can do with those printing presses nowadays, it's just silly."
It was a lot of fun to make, to be honest.
And as you greet him in Abyssal, he does kind of like. You do notice, and anyone watching would notice, he does kind of like have like he recoils a little bit at that, like his hand. He like kind of like brings his hand back up like this, and then slowly brings it down to put the pocket watch away. He goes and sort of mumbles under his breath in Abyssal to you, a greeting, and then looks back to you all. No, of course he did not. It's just. A long time since I've spoken in that tongue, and I don't usually prefer to. I like to keep to the common tongue and Elvish and some of the other tongues of the nations. But welcome, Iron and Mana. Well, you all look quite capable, of course. Looking at you, you've got your very well-decorated friend here, looking at Jaquet. We've got your my brother in spirit, looking to Fear. This one with the costume to Sass. Quite simple. This one here, looking to you, Septimus. You look like you might have some secret capabilities, from what I've heard about your times here. And he looks to you, Bruce, and says, you I've heard from Halcyon, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And what was your name, my kobold friend?
Bruce?
Bruce. Any surname or anything like that?
We call him Sweet Bruce.
Sweet Bruce. Charming. Of course.
Yeah.
Well, myself often travel to Halcyon. Been there many times. Through the sky ships over in Solanel. Not sure how long you've all been in the area, though I presume by your reputation, you're very new to the Bardly Islands.
Have you heard of Koboko?
Koboko. Of course I have.
Yeah, I used to work there.
Oh, are you part of the family?
The family, yeah.
Presumptuous.
Fine work, from what I understand. I don't deal much in construction. Novel idea. Really was hoping that we could get something of that sort going in these parts. I prefer, though, to be in Halcyon, I find.
Why is that?
It's just Hyven outside of the academy and outside of the court is just a little dingy, dangerous, dirty.
It's good. All the D's, yeah.
Yes.
I understand.
Though I know there are parts of Halcyon where there are the ether heads and whatnot, and anyone of the more or less savory sort, those who, toil around the delusions of Machina's Whisper.
I haven't been there for a little while, and I know that the town was trying to figure that area out.
Of course it's difficult. The eminent houses are not always keen to some of this. You might likely have to have dealt a little bit with the eminent Dynatos in construction, and you would immediately recognize Eminence Dynatos to be one of the leading houses of Halcyon, who have heavily invested in construction and are probably the main competitor to Koboko.
Yeah, I know them well.
Yes, I've always been surprised that they never purchased Koboko or attempted to purchase your family's company.
I believe there was some attempts.
Yes.
But
I myself find the eminent Samara to be far more interesting. And he goes on for a little bit, saying just sort of like, this guy, you can immediately tell, no insight for any of you. He loves the sound of his own voice. Loves the sound of his own voice and just likes to talk and talk and talk. And it's at a certain point that Sigil interrupts him and says, Cadmus, I believe they're very busy and would like to hear the details of the job you have for them. Right, of course. Sorry about that. Bruce, at some point I would love to talk more about your time in Halcyon and some of your contacts.
Oh yeah, me as well.
So perhaps one of the cocktail parties that happen amongst the faculty. Perhaps you can come sometime.
Oh, is that an invitation? How can I gain entry to such?
Bring lovely stories of Halcyon and your business, and we'll be happy to have you. Old Sigil here never comes to them. All the talk of where's Sigil? He's locked in the library again with his books and his robots.
Good. When is the next cocktail party?
Well, I'll send word to the Cask and Crow, since I saw from your advert that's where to find you.
Harlequin and Chalice is actually where we're advertising to. But, that's where we're staying is the Cask and Crow, so you can... Either one works.
Well, I must have misread it. All of the taverns down there kind of look the same to me. Well,
really? They all look the same to you? Have you even been down there?
And Jaquet, you catch the most upper class aggressive side eye of that you are used to from your upbringing, of the upstarts who talk, have never actually seen what they're talking about sometimes, and are just condescending assholes. But he just sort of, as he looks over to you and then back to Bruce, ignoring your comment.
And, apologies. And my friends, can I bring them as well, or?
I can look into a +1 for you, but...
Don't worry, I'm not interested in attending such an event. I have much more important things to do, like getting dirty down in the outer business or something like that.
Or discussing
around in the filth.
Or to even discuss the job that you want us to talk about. So as much as I'd love to
Yeah.
talk about pleasantries, why don't we get to brass tacks?
Right,
Septimus.
of course, a businessman, finally. Yes. Well, there's been some ruckus in the Stony Heath that me and my colleagues would like you to investigate a bit. Some stewing of the more aggressive and radical side of the Aradunai. Of course, the official policy of the Hyven Academy, and my own offices, of course, in the School of Naturalism, is that the Aradunai are a harmless group. We have no stance for or against. But, of course, we don't approve of all their practices, and we've heard some stories now that trade has returned more prominently, that there are some issues in the Stony Heath. Some protesting, some anarchists claiming something to do with the stone there in the heath. We simply would like you to go and not stop them, so to speak, but perhaps persuade them to leave and allow mining operations to return.
How does this affect the other colleague that Sigil has told us about, who has gone missing? Do you think that...
Old Nettle, I'm sure she just wandered into the forest and got lost, eating mushrooms or something. But her research was, from my understanding, connected to the mines, and that she was looking into some artifacts found within the mine. And said artifacts might be what these anarchists are complaining about. I don't know for sure details there. All I know is that they're a problem. And there are multiple interests in the resolution of that problem. Of course, as I said, we have no official position on the Aradunai. I'd just like you all to persuade them. Perhaps with force to cease their protests.
Who is your contact at Stony Heath who's giving you this information about the Aradunai?
It's the foreman, Irving, who we've contracted with for rights to any artifacts found while digging up the silver up there. Would be a good person to check in with if you take the job and arrive there to see what can be done to resume operations of the mine. And you see Sigil interrupts here and he goes, of course, I don't believe Cadmus wants you to be using violence against these protests. I think he just simply wishes for someone to go to hear them out and make sure that there's no other problems within the mine. And he actually looks to Jaquet, and he's, people of your sort of charisma, may be able to resolve this dispute in an amicable way for all parties. Certainly that would be what the university would want, as Sigil looks to Cadmus. And you can tell... Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just side-eyeing to Cadmus, Jaquet responds, yes, well, we want to make sure that all parties are receiving an equal share in what they're trying to obtain.
I just have a few more questions, if you don't mind. You say that these Aradunai are anarchists and that their protests are about some sort of stone. I believe that, clearly you don't have all the details, but if we are to identify the cause of this protest to be just, would we be paid similarly if we were able to convince the foreman that we come to some sort of compromise?
Of course. I don't care how you solve it, truthfully. I just care that the operations continue and our contracts can be fulfilled with Irving.
So you're just in it for the artifacts that are found in the mine?
Of course. And the return of operations to the mine. If you resolve this peacefully, with no need to intimidate, no need to forcefully discuss with these anarchists, fair, fine. I just simply don't want anarchists occupying a mine in the north that we have a contract with. However you resolve it is of no interest to me. I, of course, do not want any bloodshed. That would just simply be too messy. But if you are able to do so quite peacefully to the accommodations of these anarchists, I suppose all the better. But that is
And
your
what if we
business.
get there and everything has gone to shit? The foreman's guild or mining operations cannot be resumed in any way or fashion.
Well, I suppose that's exactly why I am seeking adventurers to go do this, and not taking a seaside journey myself to go have a forceful conversation with some anarchists.
Jaquet joins in laughing and then just ends with a scowl on his face.
If things have, as you said, gone to shit, then I suppose that's what these big swords are for, and all of this.
So you assume that if we can't get what you want, we should just kill everyone who caused the issue in the first place?
Like I said, I do not want bloodshed. But if, as you said, is true, and they've murdered the foreman...
Of
And,
course, completely hypothetical.
I presume adventurers will do the right thing.
Very well. Seems pretty cut and dry.
When it comes to business for this, we have a starting reward of 1,000 silver pieces for resolving the dispute between the anarchists and the mine. And, of course, if bloodshed is to happen, there will be an additional reward for your troubles and risk of 1,500 silver total.
And it sounds like you're incentivizing us to commit bloodshed to get a higher reward, if we were that kind of people.
I don't think it is that at all. I'm simply saying if you are to see bloodshed and you are to be scuffed up in a row, we think you should be compensated for a more dangerous task. It doesn't necessarily mean bloodshed, but if you are to take damage and be harmed by the knives of anarchists and you happen to clobber them on the head and knock them out and throw them in a cell, it could be potentially more reward. That last statement is like a guarantee. That is what he means.
Yep.
Besides the foreman, are there any other contacts? Perhaps lawmen or guards that we might be able to recruit to our aid? We
And
are but 5 adventurers here. If it is a protest, as you say, we might be significantly outnumbered.
And you see, as you ask this question, like, you see this whole time, like, under one of his arms, he's had just like a cane that he then like kind of like picks up and puts down onto the stone floor and just sort of leans on it and says, I'm sure that you all can handle a couple of anarchists, the heroes of Willowgrass. You dealt with bandits. I'm sure the anarchists are nothing close to that. But of course, unfortunately, Asia is not as sophisticated as other parts of the world. There are no lawmen, as you said, in Stony Heath. There's local watch, I suppose. It's a miracle that the Billowgrass is forming their own militia, though I do think it is better to have our own guards in place as opposed to local militia. But hopefully the visit of the governor will entail some of these reforms that we've been asking for. But no, there are no other contexts that I have particularly other than Irving. I can look through some of my documentation to see if there's anyone else you should speak to in Stony Heath. And there's, of course, local leadership. There are, they have small local mayor that they elect in their own way. Very akin to Governor Podgen's guidelines for law that are hopefully will come with a little more sternness when he arrives in the city. But I don't know the name of the town leadership, but they may be a good person to check in with about, I suppose, what the Stony Heath people want done with this situation. I imagine that they want these anarchists out of their little humble village.
I'm sure.
All right. Go ahead.
No, you speak.
No, I was just gonna say. All right. Yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there, Cadmus.
Of course, and truly, work at your time and your pace. As long as it's solved, I don't care. Sooner the better, of course, for reopening the mines, but I understand adventuring sometimes takes time. And, of course, we'll pay for you to deal by sea. I'd rather you get there faster when you do leave.
That's what I
That's
said.
up for discussion before we commit. Anyway, thank you guys for your time.
And you see Sigil, you have met Sigil several times, and he's always had this very calm persona. Very, sometimes even, you could even argue spacey. And even with his complete concealment due to his illness, you can see, he's deeply uncomfortable around Cadmus. He's been sort of sitting awkwardly, adjusting a lot, and, truly, trying to think of ways to interject, but really only getting that one statement out. And then kind of as you're closing this down, he does kind of say to you, well, and of course, I do beseech you that you hear these, as Cadmus calls them, anarchists out. I'm sure there's a reasonable solution to this that can be amicable across the board, and can both see the mines returning to operation, and hopefully these anarchists can be shown a way for them to affect change in a way that doesn't shut down the mines.
Of course, we are all for social reform. I'm sure that there is a perfectly, reasonable way for us all to come to amicable terms.
You see Cadmus does scoff a little, and just, not fully to all of you, but a little bit under his breath, even, oddly and maybe uncomfortably looking towards Bruce, and being like... Old Sigil, there's a soft spot for these extremists.
Well, Bruce, is that awkward? Yeah.
Awkwardly to Bruce.
I'd like to discuss our decision in private, if both of you professors don't mind. If we could have a few minutes to talk to ourselves.
Of course. Take your time. I think you don't need to tell me today. Whenever you make your decision, let me know, and we can begin coordinating travel.
Well, I believe that we're pretty fast workers. Let me just quickly discuss things if you don't mind waiting a few minutes.
We could also have this over a drink too. We don't need to.
Of course, you don't need to decide here and now today. Come back tomorrow or by the end of the week. By let's say come back by Ferris. We'll give you a couple of days.
Which fucking day is that? I always forget.
The one after fight night.
Oh, that's actually a good way to think of it.
And of course, if you need more time, just send a word and we'll extend it. But of course, if you're deciding not to take it, let us know so we can look into alternative employment for this mission.
Well, I'm sure you'll have an answer by tomorrow.
Of course,
Appreciate
of course.
the offer.
We prefer to send morally righteous adventurers for jobs like this, as opposed to the typical sell swords and the mercenaries. They tend to be messy, but take your time, and I look forward to hearing from you. And he taps his cane on the ground. And Sigil looks to you all and just says, whatever you decide, I thank you for your time. And, hope that we can continue working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Sigil. By the way, I just had Sigil. I just had a quick question before we go. You're the librarian around here, right?
Yes, that's correct.
This is like kind of off to the side, like Fearn is kind of like trying to keep a hushed tone, not really hiding it, but like kind of seems like he's a little embarrassed about something. Do you have any spell books like for beginners? Maybe some early stuff that you give to new students? Perhaps a starting textbook 101.
Curiously minded Fionn. Absolutely. I believe we have some elementary cantrip tomes that we could lend to you.
Yeah, I've been meaning to keep up with my readings, but I haven't been I'm not the most studious of my family.
And you see he immediately like spins a little gadget on his desk where you can see it turns around and there's a little notepad on like a swivel that comes around, and you see he writes on it a name of a book, and you see the ink disappears, and he says to you, "A book will be waiting for you at the exit."
This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, and Bruce, Septimus, Jaquet, I was able to speak with the deans you wanted to meet with, and I do think we'll be able to arrange something. I just need to know when you would like to meet with them, and I can check their schedules for availability. They're both willing to meet with you.
Dean Bronin, I look forward to meeting him, bud. I think Septimus and I need to discuss the timeline first, and when we're available, and we can get back to you.
We'll bring back our date to meet when we come back tomorrow to
Excellent.
reflect on your proposition.
And the same proposition to you, Jaquet, for the Dean of the Arts and Humanities.
Fantastic, Sigil. Thank you so much.
Well, look forward to seeing you again. And you exit, and you see Cadmus stays behind and seems to be continuing to talk with Sigil. As you exit the library, and by the entrance to the library, by the big giant double doors, there is one of these automatons, these spindly automatons, whose long arms kind of come down and is just holding this brightly colored textbook.
I quickly snatch it up and hide it under my cloak and give the automaton a nod.
And you guys can exit and head wherever you'd like.
As I think the party's like leaving and in the courtyard, Jaquet kind of like holds up the group and goes, "So, Cadamus."
Yeah.
What a complete blowhard, that guy.
Yes, I completely agree.
It seems like he was rooting for us to invoke violence. Not keen
Yeah,
to do that again.
But his persona of pretending to know Hyven and
Halcyon, especially too. I mean, I've dealt with those higher
probably
folks.
never have a hard day's work in his life.
Yeah, he kind of just feeds off of everybody else. He's one of those fucks. Lives a nice, beautiful estate, you know, travels around, goes to museums. Yeah, you know the type.
My thinking is that this is far more involved than just a simple artifact holdup.
Something didn't seem right.
It
Oh,
did
the
seem
fact
like
that he
had
wants
to
us
lean- Sorry, go ahead, Bruce.
to lean into invoking violence, like you said. I wonder if there's a reason why he wants them put down.
I bet that's just to secure his assets. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about anybody fighting or for any sort of good. It comes down to a damn profit margin for him. Easiest way is to just get rid of them so they'll never come back. Whereas opposed to if we try to reason with them, something else happens down the line, they can show up like that again.
I
I'm
think
curious to hear what they have to say.
I am too. I made a contact a couple of weeks back with the Aradunai. I don't know if I haven't heard a response from them. I kind of gave up. You know, things happened and I didn't keep track of it, but if we do get there, I might know a few things that can get us in with them, and maybe we can learn why without, you know, causing an issue. I think I should take head on this one, if you don't mind, as I look towards Septimus.
I'd be fine with that if we definitely want to take this job.
Now, the
Right.
question is, if we do take the job, how do we get there? I mean,
Well,
we say 4 days, but that's if we
We
take
save 8 days, actually. Trip there and back.
good point. Roads are safer if we spend the time, and it looks like we've got time. But if we have time, then we also need to decide if we're taking the other job as well.
Well, I would like to stay in Ivan. We just invested in, you know, our merchant, our business, but on the other hand, our business needs to keep making money, and Sigil is our number one customer right now. I suppose if we are going to go, I would prefer if we went the faster route. That way we can get back before our, you know, marketing cycle ends, and perhaps we can have another performance from Jackie.
I prefer to take the sea as well.
Well, as
I
far
know
as
it's
going
more
faster,
dangerous.
if we go land, can we at least go on land and we'll take the fastest route there. We don't have to go the long way. Because there's several routes we can get there via the land. We can take the fastest route possible. But just anything.
That one through the mountains sounded interesting.
Are you scared of the sea, Septimus?
Yes. I
Why?
told you.
It's just water.
Probably the pirates.
No.
Look at her.
Well, that's... No, just...
We're not all scary.
It's not just the pirates. However, that is a good point also, Fionn, how you were directly threatened by somebody if we were to be on water again.
There's no guarantee that we've run
wanna
into them,
see
though.
them try and fight us on sea.
Why would you want
why
to
would you
seek a
want to?
fight like that?
Well,
Right,
first of all, if we kill them, then we won't have to worry about them anymore.
There's no guarantee that
Alright.
we're going to run into them. It's a big ocean.
Yes,
We just-
a big, vast ocean that will swallow you whole.
Right.
If you're not kind to it, you just have to be kind to it. That's all.
I don't know if that's how it works, but
That's pretty sure how it works. And listen to it. You have to listen to it as well. It's
I
got a lot to
understand
say.
listening to dirt, but that's
It's the same thing,
different for
just
me.
wetter.
All right. Well, anyway, I wouldn't take threats lightly. You know, if somebody has intent on killing you, you usually take them a little bit more jurisdiction. You don't downplay your enemies. That's how you die. You know.
Well, how
Look
about
at
this?
Hastings.
Yeah.
If we take the land route there, perhaps we can take the sea on the way back. That way, no one will see us leave by the docks, and we will avoid suspicion.
Well, are we taking the same boat there and back, or do they have a boat there for us? Are we just leaving a wagon there? It's like U-Haul, you know.
I suppose that if we discuss it with the
It's a good company
academy, there will be merchant ships that we will be able to book passage on, as long as we, get our expenses covered before we leave. We should be able to use the money that they provide to get our way back.
Best plan.
All right. Overall, I'm in favor of going inland. I don't think it's worth going on sea.
Whatever you all want to do. I prefer sea, but I won't stand in the way.
I
I
will
prefer the
note that
fastest way
the
possible,
type
but-
of sea travel, it's still sea travel. You're still going to be on water, but it's the kind that you're not going to be going too far out into the open sea, since it's just going around the peninsula. And plus, the boat probably has a cat like that.
Jaquet, put your arms down.
But yeah,
Just standing there.
the overland travel through the hills. It wouldn't be mountains; it would be like a hilly area, and forested area that's sort of out beyond the farmland. Would be a bit rough, I would say. Like, it is like a more of a survival overland versus the roads, where you're kind of going to be mostly safe unless something extreme happens. You would be going through like wilds in certain portions. But if you go over that travel, it will be certainly be shorter and fairly comparable to the sea travel.
I'll leave the decision up to Jaquet.
I see you've all come to your senses and understand I am the true leader of this party.
No, it's just the fact that
our vote is essentially just split, and
Oh.
you're the deciding vote.
I don't wish to spend too much time away from Hyven, but no matter what, I'm probably going to miss my next performance, so I'm for taking the sea route. There's something in me that wants to test the waters, as it were.
God, could be the death of us.
If it makes you feel better, I can teach you how to talk to the water, Septimus, so that
I
it's...
have no interest in that at all.
All
You
right.
can't talk to water, that's not how it works.
I talk to water every day, thank you very much.
You talk to the spirit that embodies water.
No, I talk to the
That
water.
is your patron.
I talk to
Th-
both.
Septimus,
That's more
it's-
concerning.
look, all you have to do is you go below decks under the dock. You hang out in the brig, and you
Not the brig. He
eat
doesn't need to
and
stay in the
sleep
brig.
there. You
Not the
never
brig.
have to come out and look at the ocean. You just
All
gotta
right, will you
pretend
stop?
that
All right, it's treating me like a child. We voted. We will go on sea. I will figure it out. I will handle it.
Good.
My offer is genuine. I do want to make you feel comfortable, Septimus.
I don't think there's anything concerning me. Feel comfortable.
Just get a jar of
Thank
dirt.
you.
It's funny because Sass actually can teach you how to talk to the sea in the sense that she can make anyone capable of talking underwater. But not the same thing. But so it sounds like you are going to take the job and travel by sea. Do you want to do Fearn's idea of overland there and sea back?
That was my compromise. I think that we had a 3-2 vote for C both ways.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's a fair compromise. Well,
It was
well
a fair
thought.
compromise. I would take it still, but
You've been outvoted.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you can send word to them about this. You can come back. You can wait until the 2 days that you've been given and do some other stuff, and then go back. And whatever you want to do with your time right now, you can wait a little bit, let them sit, let them stew, maybe. Or you can go back right away.
maybe
I
we
think
could. Well,
as soon as
get
possible would be better, but perhaps we book the boat travel for a auspicious time, when we don't think there will be lots of people on the docks, like at night or early in the morning.
Doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. I can make sure to grease the proper palms so that news of our voyage maybe is kept quiet. If that's something that we are concerned about. Personally, I would gladly take on these bone rattler fucks and teach them not to mess with iron and mana.
All right. How are you going to settle this? Are we assuming that this boat has cannons? How are we going to take out another boat?
That's not our problem. That's for the ship's captain. And then when...
Which will be our problem if we are under cannon fire.
You know, you're just so... We'll figure it out.
There's a lot of
be
assumptions
fine.
here. Like the captain's crew is going to be better than their, seafaring crew that...
Look, all that matters is that the five of us
capable
are
of
better
fighting.
than anything the Bone Rattler can throw at us.
Also,
Yeah,
you
but
have me.
we're not-
I've been on the Bone Rattler. I know all their tricks. And I happen to be a pretty good sailor myself. Just saying.
Okay.
I'll keep you safe, I promise. I promise. Yeah, I promise.
To be fair, the unknowns of the wild are probably more dangerous. I mean, there's owl bears out there, all manner of elementals. I mean,
At least we know our enemy on the sea. We can prepare.
Well, I mean, we kind of know our enemies on land, too. Right? We got dirt.
Bruce,
It's all
Bruce,
reliable. But
I think the decision's been made.
it has been. You're right. All right, well, I'm going to get a drink after that.
Yeah, I need time to process the job that I have at hand as well.
I can deliver the message to Septimus if we don't like.
Sounds good.
Okay. Do you want to go back right away now?
Try not to step on any toes while you're...
Wait, the quick
doing
thing
that.
was, when is Sypodgen supposed to be coming to Hyven? So if we take this job now, we leave, we're going to be missing him?
You would miss him arriving. I think it would be fair if you wanted to ask to delay your travel.
Delay, right.
So that's what I was
Because
going
it's
to say.
only he's gonna arrive.
He's like a day or two away.
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's 3 days
Right.
away. Like 3 days from now is when it's gonna be. So like you could, like he said, like the guy said, like you have, there's plenty of time. Like he basically told you could wait until the day before Sypodgen's arrival to be like, hey, we'll take it.
All right, so Jaquet offers to inform Septimus and then walks with the rest of the party on the way out and goes, oh, I'll tell him tomorrow. Make him unsure. You never want to dance with when they first come up with you. You want to wait a round or two before you go and dance with them. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I've never danced before.
I do actually. I love to dance. I want to take you all dancing sometime. It's great fun.
I think the type of dancing I do and the type of dancing you do is very different things, Saskia.
That's fair.
All
It's
right.
still fun.
So, okay. So you'll give a day for that. And you all, I mean, basically at this point, you have kind of the day to do whatever. If there's other explorations that you want to do.
I have
Or if you guys just want to go get a drink.
I have one thing that I would like to do. If we all decide that we're gonna go get a drink, I just want to really quickly let Bruce and Septimus and Fearn walk ahead and kind of pull Jaquet to the side for a second, if he'll allow.
At the invitation, he does slow his gait, and you see he's about to say something, and you know it's going to be cutting and condescending. But he holds his tongue and he goes, "Yes, Saskia?"
I won't take up too much of your time. I have something for you, as by way of an apology. Here, and I go into my pocket and I pull out the seashell, a really nice seashell. I thought you might add this to your necklace, the one that you have with all the seashells on it. I just wanted to say that I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I crossed a line before, and it won't happen again. So, here.
No, it won't happen again, Saskia.
That's what I just fucking said, but it won't.
He reaches out and takes the shell and goes, "This is what you think your betrayal is worth? A seashell."
It's a very pretty seashell. I worked hard for it. I did work hard for it. My cheek still hurts when I was doing it. I saw some things I didn't really love. It was very scary. Do you want it or not?
Poor Saskia. So scared of all the actions she's done in the past. He tosses it over his shoulder. A nice bauble, I'm sure. I have more important things to do.
Just tip my hat. I suppose I deserved that. And just stuff my hands in my pockets and keep walking.
As you walk away, Jaquet turns and goes, "Robespierre." And the floating seashell that Robespierre caught as Jaquet quickly cast Unseen Servant
Nice.
offers it. And Jaquet looks at it for a moment and still goes and just pockets it as he follows along.
Okay. So you all can go about the rest of your day if there's anything particular you want to do, or you can just kind of get some dinner, some drinks, pass out.
If there is a moment where Septimus is with Bruce, he'd ask him, he's pretty much drank here every night. Would you want to grab a drink somewhere else, perhaps?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
What
What do you have in mind?
It's about a 10-minute walk away. If we're going to be doing this job, I think some people I want to introduce you to.
Oh, I didn't know you had more friends in town.
They're newer friends.
Oh. All right. Yeah, sure. Let's go somewhere else to have a drink.
I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be in secret, because I don't know how it can be, because Septimus will grab Sal and bring him along.
Fearn would be at the bar as they're having this conversation, just like drinking a little and like mulling over his new book, and he just like looks at them as they walk out of the bar and says absolutely nothing. He's just okay with it.
I forgot to mention it in the recap, but Septimus, you did purchase all of the fixing to conceal Sal.
I did, but I'm saying the group knows that it's still Sal.
Oh yeah, I mean, I imagine like Sass and Jaquet are, doing maybe Jaquet's up having a bath, and Sass is kind of maybe joining Fearn for that drink. And like, I guess that's actually a good question. Like when you guys get to the Cask and Crow, like Sass, Fearn, and Jaquet, what do you immediately do? I know you all just went out, but just to make some clarity on who notices this, so that you can kind of mull it over and think about like, oh, they're taking the robot out.
Yeah, I would. I'd probably sit at the bar and have a couple drinks.
So imagine Fearn is at the bar and flipping through this book that's full of arcane sigils and runes and different mathematical celestial mechanics and equations for spells. Sass, you're like maybe looking over at it like, what the fuck is that? And then Jaquet, what are you doing?
I think Jaquet might retire to his room, read his romance novels, and relax.
Yeah, so upstairs, Jaquet is in his PJs, reading a steaming romance novel by...
He doesn't have PJs, he just doesn't wear a shirt and has his trousers.
So that...
Tusk Glove.
Tusk Glove.
Yeah, and Sass, even like looking at the book, like you don't know what that book is, but you're like, oh, I've seen crusty old books like that you've scrapped in the past.
It's interesting, Fearn. You want to learn something?
Well, it's kind of stuff I've looked at before. It's just, it's been a long time since I had something like this. It's, I'm kind of rusty.
I think that's great that you're getting back into it.
Yeah, I figure it's about time I train my mind as well as my muscles.
Cheers.
It's as you cheers to that you all would then, I suppose, notice Septimus and Bruce heading out. Septimus, what does Sal look like right now, I guess, is probably the good question to ask.
He's wearing a very long and cumbersome overcoat, like trench coat. Kind of like a duster.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing too.
Yeah, no, definitely a duster. And he's got a mask that's just across his face. Like, if you really look and you're paying super attention, you can still see his eyes. You know that you just think that maybe it was just I don't know, a magical being, like a genasi that had the bright blue eyes. But it's Sal, so you just see those peering. He's got a hood on too, obviously. And yeah, we bring him down. And Septimus would say something. He'd be like, I think we're gonna take Sal out for a bit of a walk, see how he's doing. He's been cramped up in that room for the past week.
Sounds good.
Yep. Just don't get into too much trouble.
Do you want company, or you good?
No, it would probably just be boring for you guys anyway. Diagnostics and tech stuff.
Ugh. I'll have a few more of these, and then I'll go pass out by the ducks.
All right.
Have fun.
All right. We won't be out too late.
See you later.
What's up, Bruce?
We'll march out.
What's the matter?
He just
Oh,
waited.
no, I just thought
What you doing? Oh,
I
shit.
have the screens changed at all?
No.
On the...
Never mind. No, your guys' screens changed on Discord for me.
Oh.
Oh, really? It didn't for me,
That's-
thankfully.
No, it's the
Okay,
same.
good. Good.
Yeah, the stream's fine. So where everyone is. Okay, so you two are gonna finish your night there, and these two are gonna go for a walk somewhere. We're gonna take a quick break and then come back and check out where Bruce and Septimus are hanging out for this night. All right, folks, we'll be back very shortly in 5 minutes or so. So please stick around. See y'all soon. Perfect timing there. Welcome, everybody, or welcome back. Our heroes have just decided to take on a job, and now they have sort of the evening to themselves. And Bruce and Septimus are wandering off towards a different part of town. Instead of their usual drinking spot of the Cask and Crow or the Harlequin and Chalice, they find themselves heading towards the Old Brigadier Gate District, where there is a bar that Septimus has been to before, a basement bar called the Square Horse Bar. Along with them is coming Sal, our robotic companion, dressed up in a costume like it's a sitcom or in the 90s, and he is looking great in his duster, his face mask, and his hood. Just a big old dude. And I imagine he even has like boots to conceal his robotic feet, and they just kind of like imagine at first he was kind of like a cat, like when you put socks on them, where he's just like, what are these? What are these? But yes, the three of you can walk through the streets, and go to the bar. So Septimus, is there anything you want to talk to Bruce about on the way there, or Bruce, any questions you have of him?
On the way,
Wait,
oh, go ahead.
So, you're being a little hush-hush to the rest of the group. You invited me specifically. You're bringing Sal with you, and now you kind of made it not a big deal. I don't know. Where are we going?
So, taking to see. Well, I haven't been fully truthful before we left last time. I went and saw Machinist Whispers before. He hushes his voice when he says that. Obviously, not to like say it too loud. Before we left the Billow Grass before, and I think it's high time to introduce you to them.
All right. And you got good vibes from everybody there? It's not culty, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, part of the reason why Sal has been able to fight the way he has been through their help. They enlightened me on some practices I was unaware of. And I'm curious to hear what they'd have to say about our upcoming mission. Especially with being the Arndunai. You know, they've have their thoughts about them, but maybe they'll have a little more insight to any whispers or rumors that's going on in Asia.
That's a great thought. I think, yeah, hit this from multiple angles, you know, get different sides, different views.
Plus, I want to show them, if I finally want to show them Sal. Didn't have the pleasure of doing so last time since it's a little more hesitant to bring him around town. But
yeah,
since talking with them, realizing that the old ways of fear don't necessarily need to be so, as long as people see the good that can be brought about with machines.
I hope those are the values, or their values, that they carry. And no evil intentions, further.
Well, I don't see it that way, but I'm sure if you see something, you can let me know. I haven't devoted myself at all to them, but they seem to be the only one that understands sort of our interests.
All right. Well, either way, appreciate you bringing me along. I'd love to meet all these people and learn about their experiences. So
it's not too far. They're just around this corner here. Actually, down these stairs. As we descend down to those stairs where it goes down into
the Square Horse.
The Square Horse.
So Bruce, you see like it's, you guys are walking out at night.
Just remember what Bruce sees. Also,
good clarification. I always forget. Bruce, you
probably already sees all the inhabitants of the bar.
Yeah, that's
it's
true. If
underground.
he's got his goggles in, he absolutely would kind of have a.
So
actually
like
pretty good
before even
layout.
entering, you'd be like, "Oh wow."
Yeah, it's a very small bar. It's you know, you're in the like sort of mixture of like the tenement houses out here now, where everything is really tight and stacked on top of each other. So the bar basement is really just this very long narrow room that then has like on the left side is like a very traditional wooden bar top with stools and a bar behind it, and then on the left very tiny booths for people to sit in. Obviously no windows other than the one that's right next to the stairway itself. And then as you get to the door, you can see like at the edges of your blind sight, like that there is a back door that leads somewhere. There are not a lot of people in there from what you can see, Bruce. There seems to be a very tall and muscular man in there who's behind the bar. And then 2 other patrons with him. That's pretty much it. Nothing sketchy yet.
There's no like back rooms or like secret.
There is
offshoots to
definitely a
this
back
basement?
room, but you don't see anything that like goes down. You need when you get inside, you'll be able to see more of the back room.
Okay, all right, cool.
So yeah, so you can walk right in. Bruce, this does feel awkward when you walk in because you're like, it's like someone invited you to a private club and you don't know what to expect. And when you go in, the people are immediately looking at you suspiciously.
Yeah, I mentioned Bruce is also very hesitantly, like they're, like a child with their mother behind like Septimus's leg. Like
Yeah, absolutely. And Septimus, you see when you walk in, like the 2 people at the bar, there's a dwarven woman and a what looks like a elvish man. They look very quickly to you 2, very suspicious at first, and you can see Hal is behind the bar, and he, the big, large man, definitely like Bruce. If you looked at him, you'd be like, this guy's a druid. He's not a machinist, just by the way he dresses and the big beard he has. The 2 look very suspiciously at you 2, like if you walked into a biker bar and like just because you wandered in one day. But Hal sees you, Septimus, and his suspicion shifts immediately to a big smile, especially when he sees the hulking mass of cloth behind you. He immediately sort of gestures for you to come in. And looks to these 2 and just goes, they're all right. I know this guy. You see what he's got behind him right there? And the 2 look past you to Sal behind you.
Yeah. Hal, good to see you again. Brought 2 of my friends. One I'm sure you're already aware of.
Absolutely. Who's your new friend, though? Who's this guy?
This is Bruce. He's an acquaintance of mine who's journeyed with me to Billowgrass. It's part of that job I had mentioned before last time I was here. He's an artificer as well. Quite skilled one, if I should say so. Someone I trust entirely.
Nice to meet you, Hal.
And Hal would come out from behind the bar and walk over to greet Bruce and kneel down and shake his hand. And like as he goes to shake your hand, Bruce, he like is holding it very long, and you can clearly see him, or blurrily see him like eyeing your goggles and immediately being like fixated on any tool you have upon you. Oh, these are nifty. What do they do?
If you could try them on, they might not gonna fit you, but you can see.
He takes them and puts them on his eyes because I know they're like kind of like weirdly attached through a mechanism. So it's weird when he puts them on because like technically, if someone puts them on, they're seeing what you would experience because it's attached to all of your system. So they see your blind sight, and he's like, "Oh, this is keen." And he kind of like takes them off and he's like, and he kind of like squints because he's like it hurts his head after looking at it. And he's like, oh, this is some kind of graphology of your surroundings?
Yeah, I'm partially blind, so I need that to see.
Ah, all right. Excellent.
I mean, I could just get glasses, or I can wear this, so.
Fine work, man. You can see a lot more with that than with glasses. Well,
Yeah.
And additionally, as you see, like, Septimus is kind of proud at this.
Mhm.
Like, meet Salvatore. As
Uh,
he'll gesture to Sal to kind of like pull down his mask and take his hood off.
yeah, as you gesture to Sal, it's almost like Sal like looks at you like unsure what to do, and then goes and like pulls the mask down, and Hal immediately, eyes wide, he almost completely he drops Bruce's hand from like any shake that they were doing, or almost like just sort of like returns the goggles kind of abruptly and stands up and just is staring in awe at Sal. As, by the whispers themselves, one of them here. Oh.
And he's responded beautifully to the sacred flame that you had showed me. After that, I went straight to him and performed it on him, and he immediately jolted up with this enormous amount of energy. And afterwards, his commands have been more precise. He's been able to fight. Up until the point that I did lose him for a short while. Gave me quite a bit of a scare.
And you see his
But-
face immediately looks at you, distressed, and he goes, "But you brought him back. You repaired him."
With the very same flame. And with, of course, the help of Bruce here as well. On the technical side and the spiritual side.
You see he steps forward and he looks to you, Septimus, almost like for approval to like investigate or to approach him even. Like he actually like not even like just to like step up. Like he looks at you like for approval to even approach Sal.
I'll give him a look, but then I'll look to Sal and I'll like give Sal the nod, be like, he's okay.
He immediately comes up. Go ahead.
And while he's looking at Sal, Bruce will kind of interject, during his observation.
Mhm.
Yeah, and during the repair of Sal, our findings allowed me and Septimus to create this as well. And Bruce will take out his really shittily designed lollyrock bird, and Bruce will like take out the little lump of metal and kind of just stroke the back of it as it kind of unwinds into a bird.
And he looks at this and like he looks at it and he literally looks at you, Bruce, and he goes, "Oh, I'll have something for that in a minute, but this."
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
And he says to Sal, he comes up and he like hovers his hands over like him, and he just looks, and you can see he gives this like, he doesn't get down on like his knees or anything, but he gives this bow to Sal, and he looks up at him and he just says, "By the whisper within your heart, Machina, I beseech you, allow me to investigate your greater form." And Sal looks at him and then looks at you, Septimus. Do you nod at him then?
He will. Give him a nod.
And Sal gives a nod to Hal. And he kind of just like gently like opens up the duster to look at his form. You can see he runs his hand over the scarred repair, and he looks back at you two and he goes, "You're able to investigate the internal mechanisms? And you repaired it and filled it with the spirit of your sacred flame."
Indeed. You could see where he was pierced by a greatsword. Opened up his cavity. Somewhat a tragedy, but had done something I have failed to do for many months now. I was able to see the inner workings of his system. The orb there is what houses the sacred flame, the spirit within him, and quite a marvel with the inner workings of the silver etched in around it, circuiting all the energy throughout its body.
What we've heard is that there's something about the silver that speaks to it. Oh, by the whisper, you turned this whispering flame into a great shout. As he puts his hand on Sal's chest, he's like, and I can feel the fire and warmth and the buzz of his heart. Worthy of celebration.
Tis. And I want to tell you the good news as well. The great work we did in Billowgrass. I brought Sal with me. The town was distraught. Overrun by chaotic spirits of Ilis. But we fixed the problem. And I showed off Sal to change the minds. And they reacted not in fear, but in thankfulness, of joy.
Approval.
This is how we get the word around. This is how we turn the tide.
And you see, he turns around, like the entire time you were saying this, both of you were talking to him about this, like he has had his hand on Sal's chest and just staring, beaming into Sal's eyes. And then he slowly takes the hand off and turns rather rapidly to you, Septimus, and like grabs your arms like in a enthusiastic way, and he goes, "You've done more for our way than since we started here, just in a few short weeks. To think a village, a hamlet like Billowgrass, so stuck in its ways, worshipping, sniffing at the dirt for their spirits, to feel gratitude to a machina. Oh. Joyous. Great things will come of this. And this, he gestures to the little bird. Infusions of magic.
Septimus seemed to. We try to replicate the little sacred flame in this one too. I mean, it doesn't speak. It doesn't have the intelligence of Sal, but it still functions and can do what I command.
Ah, well, much like spirits venerated by those in the countryside and in the streets of this town. Even the little motes bear the whisper. And he looks at the little bird, and then you see he whistles, and out from behind the bar hops up a little mechanical parakeet that hops around.
My gosh.
Small project of my own here. Though it took me far longer than it has taken you to discover what you have. It was with Septimus's help that I showed him the whisper.
That is truly brilliant. And Bruce, all right, go, Ollie Rock. Bruce lets the bird go to the counter.
Yeah. And the bird flies over to the parakeet, and you see they kind of do this weird little hopping around each other. And the parakeet says in the most broken mechanical voice ever that you can clearly tell is trying to mimic your voice, but it's coming out garbled or whatever, and it's just like lolly pocket.
Yeah, sorry, I just felt like I needed like a ticket or an entry to this place, and that was it. Leave your show off.
Oh, well, if you're a friend of Septimus's, especially after everything that you've done and you've helped to venerate and repair a machina, you're welcome here, friend.
Septimus, do you want to tell Hal about our upcoming excursion?
There is time to celebrate. The work has only just begun. we've recently taken up we will be taking another job for Sigil of the Academy, sending us to Heath Rock?
Stony Heath.
Stony Heath, damn it! Sorry. Stony Heath. One of their associates has gone missing for quite a while. On top of it, the mining operation that's one of the other professors leads and has quite an interest with has told us that they've been delayed by protesters, the Ardunai.
No. Well, you better hope that it's not. Better hope that it's one brand of Ardunai and not the other brand of Ardunai.
That's why I was hoping to talk to you. I know some about what they stand for, what they are. But I want to, one, tell you about potentially what we'd be getting ourselves into. Two, any whispers or rumors you've heard in the area as well, because something felt a little strange. Something was off about something like there was some information withheld. I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing that you had heard. And three, best way to handle it too. It'd be a huge win for people to see the Ardunai in a terrible fashion and replace their thoughts with Machina.
Oh, well. To answer your first question, then, and he looks to Bruce. There is the harmless Ardunai who are just interested in advocating for the spirits. And they are fairly harmless. They have their temple in the temple court, and they have their rituals, just as we. Of course, outdated, and I do believe declining in the influence of such spirits, although over the last year has improved since the Great Storm. They believe he can placate them through this worship, but people like us, and he looks to Septimus, and he does look to you, Bruce, even though you're not fully kind of committed to any of this. We know the fickle nature of the spirit, and we know that they are best kept at bay versus embraced, I believe. Machina, when properly venerated, will protect us much more keenly, much more ordered. Certainly if we can develop connections as Septimus has done here with Salvatore. The other brand of Ardunai are much more extreme. Their perspective is the freedom of all elemental spirits, the end to any sort of manipulations of the elemental planes of existence, and generally speaking, the end to the modern world. Removal of even the most extreme of them are even against wizards and sorcerers from casting fire spells. I understand, I suppose, but all this work and worship over creatures that don't give a shit about them. Creatures that would rather rot on a mountainside or rip an entire village apart with their unstable energies. The spirits belong in their plane of existence. They do nothing but destroy, and they come here. But
I know all too well.
Now, Stony Heath, the only thing I really know is there's a shortage of silver exports from it. And the trade was trickling in from, I believe that was due to the issues in Billowgrass. Hopefully would be resolved based on your actions there. As far as swaying the hearts and mind of the Stony Heath, they're very proud up there. Not as yokel-like as Billowgrass, but hardy and individualistic. Support each other. I would suggest when you get there to learn more about what the people there actually think about the Ardunai. And if there's a way that the Ardunai's actions cause trouble, where Salvatore's can cause peace and positive outcomes, all the better to embarrass the Ardunai. How you do that, you'll need to do a little investigation when you get up there. if it
Sounds that way. But I was hoping to get as much information I can before we travel. But it looks like that's our only option. Unless you know someone who has more rumors around town before we head out.
The only thing I could think of is, Hyven was struck hard in the countryside as well. Stony Heath. Some there believe they were spared some of the damages of the storm. Truth be told, it's simply due to the fact that they're far above the water lines. The waves that crashed into their lands broke up against the northern cliff sides. But they did not go unharmed. If you could persuade the people there that they actually did suffer from the storm, that their belief that they were spared by the spirits is not founded in truth, could be a way to persuade them towards a new protector, Machina.
Interesting. Give me quite a bit to consider. But I think I can see that done.
Well, your own adventures with Salvatore here inspire new thoughts in me. Less hiding in the basement, more showing people what the Machina can do for us, what we can do for them.
Yeah, just make sure it's gradual, not...
Yes, of course. But people cling to the spirits as protectors. No matter how much the spirits burn them, or tear their homes down, or generally rip the lands apart. It's hard to break that desire for protection from those beyond. If we can show them that there is something beyond that manifests truly here in a form that can be reasoned with, worshipped in a way, it'll be easier to let go of their old protector. And who knows? Stony Heath is a bit more wild than what you've been moving through. If you're lucky, you might even find another one out there.
Just have to keep our ear to the ground then.
Well, in our case, probably the water. Till we get there.
But let's celebrate. He looks to the two of you and goes, wine? Spirits?
Ale. Do.
And you see he goes into the back and comes out with some mugs and some different drinks. And he sets them all out. And he calls to the back for some food to be brought out, and you can enjoy just a nice hearty meal as he asks you many questions about Sal, many technical questions about exactly what you did. And you'll notice, like, in these conversations, like, while Septimus has his rituals, this man has a lot of, like, he has formalized a lot of his worship. Like, he's saying things like, we're using the word machina much more. He's saying by the whisper. He's talking about the faith itself more so than kind of Septimus's discovery of his own worship and relationship with the faith. This man does seem to have some connection to a greater network of what is Machina's whisper. And it would even conclude kind of the night where he would, when the other two leave and it's just the three of you, and he would kind of look to you all after he's had a few drinks, and he says, I have something coming in from Halcyon soon.
What's that?
And he kind of looks around and he goes, don't know how much you are aware of Machina's whisper, but in the city, there's said to be those in touch who can hear the whisper, who have imbibed certain materials to open their mind to the whisper. They may have such materials coming. If my connection is true, could also just be some fucking shit holy water out of some backwater cathedral. But,
Wait, can you... Sorry, say that again. You're... Something to open people's minds to the whisper?
yes. So the rumors go, those who first heard the whisper.
By what means?
Well, if what I have heard is to be trusted, then yeah, substance can be inhaled in a way to open the mind.
So like a charm?
Not quite. When you all return from your quest, come back, and perhaps it will be in by the time, and we can discuss it further.
It's interesting. Curious to see how it plays out, but will do.
Bruce, you know this is referring to exactly the kind of weird stuff that Cadmus was sort of like condescendingly bickering about, of just like there are parts of Halcyon where people don't go because it's been taken over by Machina Whisperer. Gangs is a better way to put it than like them being like cultists. They're just like artificer gangs where they're just like they're deal in illegal artificing goods. They deal in substances, illegal, many. And there is a particular subsect of them that are called the apothecarians, who deal in a substance, an inhalant that is it's a drug at the end of the day, that is said to be sort of the origin of Machina's Whisper, is sort of the rumor. Of course, this could also be disparaging rumors to discourage people from engaging with Machina's Whisper, but a lot of people think that it's like they hallucinated the Whisper, and that's what the entire thing's based on, is the common like opinion in Halcyon.
Okay. Bruce is just gonna withhold that information for now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, with that we can discuss Sal, but any sort of inquiry that Septimus wanted to have with Hal is done.
Yep. And as
unless Bruce wanted to continue more.
Bruce would only have Bruce would just be listening kind of the whole time, just taking in what has to be said. He's enjoying himself, for what it is. But Bruce would want to say a couple things to Septimus on the way home.
Okay. So yeah, I'll say it's it's later in the evening, and the two of you are headed back now. The night ended maybe a little bit after he brought up the inhalant that has coming in, and you guys said your goodbyes, and the three of you are now walking home, Sal in tow behind you.
Just so you're aware, back in Halcyon, there were apothecaries, or I should not say apothecaries, but there were potions being handed around in the not-so-great parts of town where these artificer gangs would take a drug to kind of hear the whisper. So I
take a drug.
By inhaling. That was the rumor.
But what Hal was describing.
Yeah, very similar to that. So I just kind of want to make you aware of that. I mean, as long as you consent to it, you can do what you want, but I'm not sure what the effects of that are.
Very puzzling.
Just be careful.
I trust your judgment, Bruce, more than anything. It saddens me because it seemed like quite an interesting proposal. But now that you mention that, if it's a drug, it does sound somewhat comparable to what we saw in Billowgrass.
Yeah, and I just be a little aware, or not, just taking consideration, I don't know what he plans on doing with this, but the people that he does share with, I hope they consent to it. That's all.
Well, I can at least sleep on it for now and handle that when the time comes.
Yeah. One other thing. Thank you for showing me this place. I appreciate it. Kind of enjoyed myself.
Oh, of course. I figured you've would have enjoyed talking shop a bit more with some other peers. I know you're not fully invested in the worship, but Hal does know some of the technical aspects as well with the parakeet that he has. I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah, it's quite cute. And I see they were right outside Vienna. Got one more question for you. It's a little separate from this, but Fearn's sword that he picked up.
The one from Hastings?
The one from Hastings. This
No.
sword-
No.
Oh, wait, no. That was the
no.
gun. That was the
It's
gun.
from the
Sorry.
Dragonborn. From the Dragonborn.
Dragonborn. Thank
Oh,
you.
the sword from the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
That's right.
The gun's from Hastings. This is a BAU. This is a weapon that was advertised in Halcyon as like an adventuring item. It is illegal to have here and can be sold for quite a lot of money.
It's illegal to have in Halcyon or illegal to have in Aldhalor?
Here in Aldhalor. I'm not sure I want to give this in possession with Fearn, but he would prove a vital ally, or not a vital ally. What's the word I'm looking
Formidable.
for? Formidable ally. If he wields this. What are your thoughts? I mean, we could also sell it and split the money with the party too. But
Why is it
say
illegal?
broke.
It is actually illegal in Aldhalor?
It's not that there's Alfdal laws prohibiting it, that it's more of like a proprietary item that if it's not a licensed production of it, people can come after you for it. The BAU are particularly
What's the
fond
BAU
affair.
again?
That's the Bunkers Apparatus Union.
Units.
The Bunkers
Oh, is it-
Apparatus
wait,
Union.
wait. Oh, it's union or unit? I thought I wrote down unit.
Union. The item is
Oh.
called a manifold armament.
Right. Okay. Okay.
But it's more so. It's like if you're found with one, and someone in the know finds out that was not sold through a licensed seller, they'll come after you to repossess it. And I say come after you to repossess it. I don't mean like a bounty hunter. I mean like a very powerful Halcyon bounty hunter will come looking for you.
Got it.
The type that can teleport.
Yeah. Sure.
And
That's right now. That's right now. Pinkerton.
I didn't want to say it, but yes, they will send the Pinkertons after you.
Trust me, you don't want these people after you.
Well then. Yeah.
So
I
I've
don't
been.
draw any more unwanted attention.
There's also a part of me that wants to just kind of keep holding onto it in my bag of holding and keep studying it so I can kind of replicate how it works. I got most of it down pat.
What have you told Fearn so far?
I told him that it's broken, and I bought him another greatsword. And
Probably
he
a
bought
smart
it.
thing to do. But still keep it under wraps for now until you figure out exactly what to do with that also. It'd be a tragedy to just sell such a powerful piece. However, I don't want to have our target on backs.
Right. And I was wondering if Torcal could deal with that in some way when the time comes.
Why am I blanking on? Oh yes, Jesus Christ!
Your only
Okay.
friend before the
Yes, yeah, that's right. He may be an interesting person to help break it down. We'd have to catch him though on off hours. He would not appreciate if we just plopped this in the front of his stall in the middle of the day.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be good.
Stored in the bag of holding. Well, I guess we have a couple days here. If we have
we don't
time.
need to make the decision right now.
Yeah.
I kind of want to study it a little bit more. Maybe
Yeah.
replicate it in the future.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Totally. Yeah. Awesome. So the two of
I'm
you,
gonna head to bed.
you walk in, and I imagine Fearn and Sass are on their last drinks in there, being raucous.
Fearn's
Fearn.
still struggling with the book. Like, he hasn't gotten that far into
You can
it.
do it, Fearn.
But it's also getting
Shut
worse because
up,
you're
I'm
drinking,
trying to
Sass.
study.
One more page. One more page. Drink.
Are you still after trying to learn a cantrip?
He's doing a
Yeah.
great job.
It's like
Septimus.
another language. You've got to,
You're
go
Septimus.
review the basics.
I'm
How-
Saskia.
Is that the second page?
He's been working really hard on it, okay?
Oh.
That's my accent. He's been working really hard on it, okay?
All right. Well, I mean, if you want help learning,
Well, here, look. Let me tell you this symbol as he reads out some of the book while casting
What do you
guidance.
know?
Fine, he won't cast guidance on you. No, he would still, because that was going to be his touch to help him out a bit.
Well,
it's
I thought
somewhat of a guiding touch to whatever I'm saying, help him understand.
Yeah, Fearn, give me an
Yeah.
Arcana check
Sure.
and add the D4.
I don't know how much these guys know about the Eldritch Arts.
They might. This book is a little more sciencey on it, so they would recognize.
I thought you
some
said
of
it
the
was
stuff.
a 101 book.
Yeah, it's an
It
elementary
is a
cantrip
101 book, but it's wizard spells. It's not religious stuff.
That's true.
True,
Too.
true.
That's fair too.
That's wizard spells.
I got a 9. I don't know
Okay.
if I get to add anything to it.
D4. Well, whatever your
D4.
intelligence, your Arcana is, and then the D4.
My Arcanus is 0.
Okay, go ahead and roll the D4.
I got a 4, so that's a 13.
Yay.
Okay, so with the 13, like you're starting to, it actually does help a little bit. More so in the sense of like how to read it makes more sense to you now. Like where Septimus is pointing out a few things from his own research into the Arcana. He would be like, oh no, here, this is how these equations work. Like this part equates to a representation of the source of magic. This part relates towards the way that you're stretching it out and expanding it into something else, or restricting it down into something tiny. And if you understand these two symbols, then you can then extrapolate that upon the verbal, somatic, material components and how those particular items. And at that point, it gets a little too much for you as he's going into it. Where like you understand what he's talking about because you can cast magic, but it's very much like you learned, like, yeah, if you properly hold this newt's eye and say these 5 words in our ancient language, and then really gesture your hand wildly, you'll get a ray of frost. And this is a little more like dissected. It's not that what you learned from home is not right or a proper way to do it. This is just a different way of looking at what you know through your ancestry and tribe.
I also probably learned it in a different language than this book is printed in, so
Exactly.
it's
You would have
difficult
learned
for me to
everything
connect
through the native
shapes.
abyssal. So
Yeah.
this is all like, you're like, I always thought it looked like this, like you just learned it right. The best way to put it is a completely different language, both literally and in the way they're writing these symbols out. But once Septimus points out what these symbols mean, you're like, oh, that's this. Like I know that as a brust, not a whatever it says there. So you're able to really actually read the book now.
Yeah, these runes are a little strange, but I'm getting the hang of it, I think.
Oh,
It's
good.
gonna take a lot more work.
See, there you go.
yeah, you should get post-its also. Good,
What's a
take some-
post-it?
Oh, they like a note, like a yeah, just little separate pages that you put in, and you can make specific notes to help yourself.
But what if I lose them if they're little?
Well, that's your own fault.
So you see Kana puts down the drinks that Sass and you just ordered your last round, and she goes, "Well, the trick is you pick up a little bit of that adhesive stuff from the potions office, and you adhesive the back of them and stick them on your wall. I got a bunch of them in the back for our specials. Enjoy. You paying?" And she looks at Sass.
Saskia, are you double fisting?
I got distracted and started focusing as she took my drink.
Yeah, it's good. I needed it, to be honest. I just needed it. Cheers. And no, I'm not. Somebody else will.
I don't know what she just said. She's been enjoying watching me struggle all night.
No, I've been helpful.
No, you haven't.
Really? I thought I was.
From my
just told me
perspective,
to fuck off.
From my perspective, Kana looks at you and goes, "You've kind of just been yelling at him about yelling like. I mean, to be fair." And she kind of looks at you and cringes. I mean, you were yelling supportive things, but the man's trying to read.
Nobody told me to fuck off, so I just sit here and yell my support. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm used to a little ruckus while trying to read. It's not a big deal.
Do you want me to go? I can go. I'm probably
No.
should stop.
You're fine. Finish your drink.
I just spilled it all over me.
Yeah, speaking of
go.
drinks, it's gonna be 4 silver for all of those drinks.
Great. Somebody, I keep telling you, if you
drank
have,
most of them.
if you have dishes or something in the back, I am happy to do that.
You see how a
good night,
business
guys.
works, Saskia, is you pay me 4 silver, and then I take that silver and I pay a dishwasher.
But I just
Yeah,
cut
I'm
out.
gonna get out of here too.
I cut out the middleman. I'll just do my own dishes. Here, and
That's-
I'll take the dishes, the cups.
I gotta go
Done.
pee.
And slowly the entire party pulls away from Saskia, and you see Kana's just standing there and being like, again, 4 silver pieces.
Can I give it to you tomorrow?
We don't really like to leave tabs open at the end of the night.
You don't like to, but you will. Great. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll have it.
Bye. Hold up, ma'am. Ma'am.
Don't fucking ma'am.
And she runs in front of you and so that she's between you and the door. I know you have 4 silver because I've seen all your friends buying nice fancy lunches.
Yes, it's that. I don't like to spend my money. I like to work. How about this? How about this? Yes.
This better
Hang
be
on.
good.
And I reach
swear
in.
to
I
God.
take out some seaweed that's in my pocket. Nope, not that one. Not that one. I go in and I take out.
What
Oh, sorry.
the
no.
fuck? Why is this soaking wet as if it's fresh from the sea?
Well, it's because it is. That's where I just was before.
You've been here for hours.
I always have a little bit of the sea with me.
Or whatever you pull out of your bag next better be 4 little circular pieces of silver.
They're 4 little circular newt eyes. You said circular.
Go wash some dishes. and you
Trip
go back
over the
there.
bar on the way back.
You go back there, and there is just like a single guy there, like this halfling who's probably like 18, and next to him is a massive pile of dishes in a sink. And he just has a bucket with some suds in it, and he's just like slowly wiping a loofah on one of them. And he goes, "Hi,
2 more for you.
are you the
And
night shift?
sneak-
Can I go home?"
Is there a back door?
Yeah.
Bye. I'm going out the back
Okay.
door.
You can go out the back. All right, have a good night.
You've got this, friend. You can do this. You've got this. Just try a little harder.
And you sneak out the back.
I sneak out the back.
When I come back from taking a piss, I go up to Kana, is it?
Yeah.
And just be like, Did you get her to pay?
If it wasn't for the fact that your party spends a lot of money here, and your friend, Mr. Touchard, is spending a lot of money here, I'd have been a little more forceful about it. But she's in the back washing dishes.
I put the 4 silver on the table and say, do me a favor and don't let her know I paid her tab. Just keep it open for her. You get paid double for dealing with her shit.
And you see Kana, who has demonstrated that she is nothing but a absolute glutton for coin, is like, okay. In her mind, she's like, oh, free dishwasher? And I'll get paid. All right. Roy, you can go home. Thank you. Fear.
It's only fair.
Great, I can go home. And Kana does kind of nod to you, Fear, and like you see a glimmer in her eye that is like you've earned not the respect she shows to Jaquet because he spends a shit ton of money here, but she now looks at you differently, and you can tell that she looks at you as someone who has financial influence, and she's much kinder. She actually brings you over a free beer.
Oh, nice. I think once the bar closes out and all my friends have gone up, I'll spend a little bit more time studying and then take half of that beer up with me to my room.
Perfect. So as Fearn continues to study the elementary cantrips tome and finishes half of that beer, and Sass rushes through the streets running, I'm sure running as if she thinks there's people chasing her.
Absolutely.
And I imagine giddily running.
Yeah, very much so. Be like,
through some
I got away with it.
alleyways, feeling somewhat of a renewed sense of purpose. Or at least a renewed sense of chaos. Bruce and Septimus rest easy, knowing that they are discovering new things, interesting things, and may have some influence to be exerted when you get to the Stony Heath. Jaquet reads his spicy romance novels by candlelight as he slowly drifts off, the book resting on his chest. I didn't know he was here. And Sass, you retire to the hostel, where once again, almost a comforting sound of the waves in the distance as you recall that very first night you stayed here. As the waves rush over the shoreline and against the wharf, and you hear that voice in the back of your head. This is your only life. And that's where we'll end tonight. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. I got that quote wrong of myself, quoting myself. They said, "You have no other life." Is actually what they say. Pretty sure she originally said, "You have no other life." Anyway.
I wrote down "This is your only life." But
so I probably said both. Anyway.
Check the bot.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. We're going to send a raid on over to someone else. We'll send the love over to... So Many Games. So go give them some love from Paradice. We have had a great time with y'all tonight. Hope you enjoyed. Stick around throughout the week for other stuff. Power Hour will return next week. And I am pretty sure that I will be streaming on Thursday. This Thursday I was hanging
Famous
out with
last
Shannon.
words.
Shush. Stefan, hold up your end of the bargain and paint that ship while I'm streaming, and I'll definitely stream.
Yeah, stream for once.
Excuse me.
That's our ship that we're gonna take, Steph. You have to paint it
2 times in a row.
And that's fair.
And then I didn't the last 2 weeks because I've been sleepy
Didn't
after
want
work. So I do really want to stream this week, and hopefully I'll play a little video games with Josh too. But anyway, we'll see you all soon. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a lovely evening or wherever you are in the meat space. Good night. Goodbye.
Good night.
See you soon.
No,
Bye.